Zach. I appreciate you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. I actually didn't know if you wanted to do it. Like, I kind of was just when I was thinking of people to invite, I didn't know you wanted to do it. So I appreciate you for coming on, taking time.
Yeah, man.
We look really
Dapper.
good, dapper today. let me just put this on the wayside, cause I hate when you show
The wire.
the wire, man. It's gotta stay hidden, but it's okay, cause
He's wearing a
you
wire.
can't even
He's
really
wearing a
see it.
wire.
But I like opening the podcast always with, how's your 2025 been?
It's been alright. Not the best, honestly. Just
Hanging in there.
been like just chilling. Honestly, like, because as you know, I was in the military for 6 years, and after that, like, just being in the military for that long, I'm just like, let me take a little break, you know.
Okay.
So, but it's like, it's not good because, like, dang, dude, I forgot how expensive California can be, you know?
Hella expensive.
Especially, like, living in Korea for a while, like, getting paid in USD and then converting that into the Korean currency, won, and, like, how cheap stuff over there was, you know?
Damn.
I would order out, like, every single day. Like, twice a day.
Like Uber Eats or?
Yeah, basically, like, their version of it, it was, like, Shuttle. It was called Shuttle.
Oh, shuttle. Okay.
Yeah, and I'd order out every single day, but it wouldn't like really make a dent. You know?
What would you get? Like McDonald's?
McDonald's, chicken tenders.
But is there like more other restaurants that maybe not here?
Well,
that we wouldn't know about here because we're in the U.S.
No, not necessarily. Well,
Would they deliver pho?
it's funny because I was just about to say that, but the pho, I would never get them delivered. I would just walk over there because it was like
okay.
2 minutes away. It was like
Yeah.
a block away from me. Like the base was, for instance, like right here, and there was like a long strip of
Damn.
just stores and restaurants, and I
Right.
lived at the end of the strip.
Okay.
So like, it was right there, you know.
Damn.
And I would walk to that strip, and get pho, pizza, McDonald's, and they had
Right.
like birria tacos, but they weren't like, you know.
The way
Yeah.
we would have them here.
I mean, they were decent for what they were, but not, you know,
Yeah.
not like anything special. And there was also like a bunch of other restaurants, like a couple other Mexican food joints, Korean
Yeah.
barbecue. But I would mainly get like the pho, the birria, and the pizza. I feel like I got something else. I don't remember.
Tacos, pizza.
Yeah, I don't remember though. But yeah, I mean, honestly, just it's pretty like jarring coming back from that type of environment to this one,
California.
to California, you know, especially because it got even more expensive.
Yeah.
I think when I left here, gas was like
$3.
three,
50, 60.
like high in the three, yeah, like
Yeah.
high in the three, but now it's like almost $5, you know.
I mean, you can go to LA and I think there's like a gas station that's $7.
Really? Yeah, dude. I'm
And
like, dude, this is
above.
wild, dude.
So, yeah, man, California's expensive, bro. It's expensive.
Mhm.
Like, I would love to move if I ever get the chance to do it. But this is just where I grew up, man. So, I
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like, for example, when I learned that did you know you were going to Korea? You didn't know you were going to Korea until what year?
Well, I mean, I guess I should start from the beginning, you know.
Okay.
I guess we could talk about the Korean. Hey, look at this. Look at
Yeah. It's all good.
yeah. But should I just start with my Air Force experience as a whole?
Yeah. Start wherever you want to talk about.
All right, yeah, because that's kind of one of the points of topic, you know,
Yeah.
points of conversation, you know, yeah. Anyways, so first of all, you know, I guess the whole reason why I joined in the first place was, you know, I mean, I'm you know me from like high school.
Right.
Obviously, you know, we've known each other since like 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So over 10 years now.
Over 10 years,
Hey,
bro.
10 years.
Hey, let's celebrate to that. And you know, That's why I felt good having you on, because I don't know what was it about last year. I think just because it was 2024,
Mm-hmm.
I I was figuring it out, and I was thinking 2024, like 10 years ago I was starting high school,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been 10 years ever since I started high school. Whatever I started a bunch of things in high school, and like 10 years now, a decade of doing like something that I fully do. And there's things that I can go on, like for example choir, like I've been doing that for 10 years.
Dang.
So I just started realizing, like, damn, who have I known for 10 years? Obviously, I met Eli 10 years ago as well, a little bit more, over 10 years.
Really?
I met him in high school.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
thought you met him in church.
no, not even in school. Like I found out he was from church,
Mm-hmm.
from the same church that I go to. It's a different location,
Yeah.
but had never seen him, spoke to him before
Oh,
high school,
wow.
man. So you're in there, you, Sasha,
Sashimi.
Cairo, everyone,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Honestly, it'd be cool to get more people on here. Like maybe even do like a tag team double up. You know?
A four, huh?
Yeah.
A four,
Yeah.
a four
A
people.
2v2.
I just
But
I need to get mics, because these are just for two, but
oh yeah.
definitely possible.
Or maybe you can set up your room to do like a podcast like how they do.
Yeah.
Like, like typical just sit on the couch type podcast.
The thing about sitting on the couch or like in a studio was it wouldn't really like, I like shooting where there's great architecture.
Yeah. The
And like
architecture.
one of the reasons why the video is set up this way, it's not conventional, like you and like the camera's not like right here,
Yeah.
looking at us. I so ever since the first episode, actually ever since the second episode. So my friend and I, David and I, we wanted to do a podcast, right?
Mhm.
And we were thinking, hey, where should we shoot it? And he was saying, let's just do it in the car. And actually, the person before, he was also saying, let's do it in the car, and he had a van. Let's do it in the van.
Mhm.
And I was thinking, yeah, that's cool. To be honest, we can do it there. You're not gonna get noise from outside or anything like that. But the thing for me was that I'm really into architecture, so I was thinking
Oh yeah.
the best thing to do is to shoot it and then like actually show the architecture,
Mhm.
or now I don't just say architecture, I say the urban planning or the urban design, because like for example this is architecture, but it's like the purpose of it is for people to gather around here, walk, have a good time on the weekend. And this is Balboa Park, man.
Oh
This
yeah.
is
I love Balboa Park.
I love Balboa Park. Created, inspired by Central Park in New York and San Diego. When I forget the name, man, but I should remember who the guy is. But the name of the architect that I think he might have been urban planner, but he went to New York and he said San Diego needs a Central Park. It needs an area like New York, so that then we can follow that same blueprint that New York has.
Mhm.
But obviously, a couple things along the way that didn't realize. So this was kind of like the meat and bone of it, right? We need Central Park,
Mhm.
we need downtown, we need a transportation system. We had all those things, just that as the years kept going by, we didn't follow New York. We kind of, we went more into like the suburbs, basically.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the whole point, to show it. And it kind of, I feel like whenever I have guests on, because you've seen podcasts before, right?
Yeah.
So you see like the way that the camera's like up front, you get to see the people.
Yeah.
For me, I think look at us, it's dope. You and me here at a distance
Yeah.
with the fountain,
Oh yeah. With the bell tower.
with the bell tower,
Yeah, the
with that
bell
area
tower.
over here, people walking. There's always something like, I don't know about you, but in Korea, did you ever get to like go up high and
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah.
buildings?
Of course. Yeah. Of course.
Did you ever go out like in a balcony, something like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just see the people down there, walking like
Mhm.
ants?
Yeah. It's actually a lot of like. There's actually a lot of scenic areas. Okay. I guess I'll talk about Korea first because I do like Korea. Anyways, Korea, like, for instance, has a lot of like mountains and hills and stuff like that.
Right.
And here, like San Diego, like how you said, we kind of did like suburbs, and suburbs like is more horizontal.
Yeah.
Like especially like San Diego as a whole.
Yeah.
Like the only real part that is like tall is downtown.
Downtown.
You know, but it's all horizontal. But I'm pretty sure Korea is like 1/4 the size of California. You know, the entire country is
Oh,
1/4
okay.
the size of California.
So California's
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah, like
Dang.
square mileage, and so they really don't have a lot of options in terms of like horizontally
Yeah,
you know?
expanding.
Yeah,
Because if not, they get met with
the ocean.
and Kim Jong Un.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, hey, yo, what you
Uh,
doing over here?
or
Take
just
these
like-
suburbs out of here.
Or just like a giant mountain in general.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, like for instance, like parking lots. You know, I always like disliked it because
Waste of space.
the space, it was either like a parking garage, you know, like down or up, you know, but you had to find a parking garage first, and say like you wanted to go somewhere like in Gangnam, you know,
Yeah.
like Gangnam style.
Gangnam Style.
Yeah.
So Gangnam Style is like actual place, a
yes,
city.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a little. It's in Seoul, but it's like a little province, you know. Yeah, exactly. It's like a little province. So, say you wanted to go to like Five Guys over there, you know.
Okay.
Well, first you had to find a parking lot, you know, and then for like an American, you had to find one that would accept your card, because there was times where I actually parked, and I went to go pay, and it was like error, or
Oh, it wouldn't read it.
it just wouldn't read it at all, you know. So then
What would you do? You would just get out
I
of
would
there?
try and push the button, or somebody would come out and like lift it up for me, you know. So I basically parked for free,
Yeah.
but it was just annoying because like there'd be a line.
Right. That's the worst.
Mhm.
And you can't back out because
Yeah, exactly, because there's people behind me. But the whole point is, once you find that, it's actually like 3 blocks away or whatever, you know, or
Okay,
like
yeah.
a couple blocks away
Yeah,
from
yeah.
where you want to go. So you just like park, and then you have to walk more, and then you have to walk around wherever you're going, like the shopping,
yeah.
and then like come back, you know.
Okay.
Like here, you know, like say for instance, like I want to go to Target in Point Loma, you know, I could just practically park right up to the like front door almost, you know,
Okay.
in like the parking lot, and it's like a big parking lot, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a lot of open space, you know, and it's right. The parking lot is meant for the establishment, you know, but not necessarily too much in Korea. And like how we were like having trouble here,
Yeah.
how the parking spots were like super tiny. Over there in Korea, it was like tinier, you know. 'Cause
Yeah.
like I
'cause
said, I had a Daewoo Matisse, which I don't know if you've seen Pineapple Express.
Say it
like
again. Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express. Oh no, I haven't seen it.
Oh really? Well, there was like Pineapple Express, and there's a car
Okay.
like that they like emphasize. It's like a little
little
yellow
car.
like small car. It was basically that I
Okay.
had. Anyways, but yeah, like, but like a lot of the touristy areas, like the landmarks, there was Namsan Tower, like
Yeah.
Seoul Tower,
Okay.
North Seoul Tower, or not North. It was like Namsan Seoul Tower, and that was on top of a mountain,
Right.
and you can walk up the mountain, and and as you're walking up, you can get a viewpoint of like Seoul,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
and you could go to the top, and then
See the whole city and it's
at the top of the mountain
glory.
and see the whole city, and then you can go up on top of the tower, even more so, like, you know, and get a better view. But also, one of the places that I did like to go to as well was Lotte Tower, which was
What's up with that
it's
tower?
the 5th largest building in the world, like
Oh,
tallest,
Damn.
I mean. And
What does it look like? I think I might know what it is.
it's like
Is it the same as just like
it's just
a
like, and then it's got like kind of like a fork at the top.
a fork at the top?
Yeah, but it's not really noticeable unless you like actually
Oh,
look
okay.
at it. But it's actually cool because like at the fork, it's like there's obviously space in between.
Yeah.
And you can actually like sign up and walk across a bridge from that. You know.
Okay.
So like at the very top, you're like walking across a bridge.
Damn.
Like
yeah.
I forget. I think it was.
Is it the building that's like has two, and then there's like a big building like kind of horizontal at the top?
No, I think
Oh,
that's.
that's another. I think that's in Dubai or in China, I think. But anyways, no,
I think you're thinking about Malaysia,
Yeah, Malaysia. I think I'll just
where
have to look
it looks
at
like two corn cobs
Yeah.
and then the bridge in the middle.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's Malaysia.
Okay.
But yeah, Lotte Tower or Lotte World Tower,
Lotte
like
World Tower.
Lotte.
Yeah.
Tower. That actually at the like basically the top. I think the 123rd floor. There's a glass floor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you could like stand on the glass and like look down at the whole city, and it's
Did
like
you do
wild.
that?
Yeah.
Was it scary?
No, well, not really. I mean, I'm not really like afraid of heights all
Yeah.
too much, you know. But it's actually cool because there's a lake, and then they have Lotte World, which is like their Disneyland. You know, it's actually really fun. And you could get a view of that and the lake, and then like, it's funny because if you look, like almost every single building in Korea has a green roof.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
When green roof, you mean like solar panels or like a garden?
Just like green paint.
Oh, green paint. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's funny.
Over here, like green roof or like environmental.
No, not that type.
So
of
over
green.
there, it's just green paint.
Yeah, so
Like-
you just see like a bunch of buildings with green
shit.
like tops, you know.
Do you know why?
And they
or
all
is
look
it
the
just...
same. I think that's just like the coating that they use for the rain,
Oh, okay.
stuff like that. And a lot of the times the buildings, you can walk on the roof, you know. So it's like a square like top, you know.
yeah.
It's not like a
point.
pyramid.
They
or
don't put a
whatever.
crown on it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, I think you would get a really good
Enjoyment out of it.
yeah, like have a really good time in terms of like, especially like architecture for you.
Yeah.
You know, because there's like a lot of cool buildings, you know, like Dongdaemun Design Plaza at DDP. It's like
Okay.
it kind of looks like the Bean in a way.
Oh, the
You know,
bean. Oh yeah,
like- Yeah, like it looks like rounded, and I mean, it's kind of like hard to explain, but yeah, and I'm trying to think like just in general, because they build up, you know, it's just like,
Right.
a lot of like
yeah. They really don't have a lot of space to. If they build horizontally, they're gonna run out of land. Basically.
yeah, exactly.
Really fast. So, and you know that's one of the things that happened with not only New York, but I mean you know when I was reading, I was like, why is New York such a highly, or like how did New York even come to be? Because it wasn't always New York, right? Paris was before. I mean, Paris has always been a great city, and I don't know if you've been to Paris, but like Italy has always been a great city. You know, when they talk about the cities and urban design, Europe is always at the front of it.
Hmm.
And obviously when they conquered the Americas, and they when they conquered it, and they brought all their art, all their ideology, philosophy. Well, that's why you have in California all these Romanesque European styles of, or not only architecture and the way the buildings look, but also the design of it, right? Like Balboa is more like this sort of plaza, right? Like a European style city would look like. But then one of the things that really helped New York was like it was a port, and people would just go in there, make business, right?
Yeah.
So a lot more people started concentrating in that area, and the harbor was the gold of it.
Yeah.
That little, I think, Manhattan Island, basically. For whatever reason, that place just became so popular. That's where people went. That's where people actually like went, and like, I want to go to New York. We're talking like 1800s, 1900s. Don't touch my hand. But anyways, after they all settled there, they ran out of space, bro.
Hmm.
They ran out of space, and there's no other reason why there's no other reason, but there's more people coming in, and they needed to build.
Hmm.
And so at that time, there wasn't an elevator. So right now we think of
Oh,
elevator,
dang.
right? At that time they only had stairs.
Uh-huh.
So they can only build stories of 5. So because after a while, I mean, are you gonna climb all the way
like 20
the Empire?
floors.
Like for example, just think of it, the Empire State of Building. Like you're gonna climb all those stairs to go right, and it's not only for tourists. I think tourists would probably climb it up, but people that have to work all the way up there,
Yeah,
like you
exactly.
can't, right? So 5 stories was the max. Then there's a World Fair, and they present the first elevator. It was really just a ramp. Like you ever seen the ramps off the trucks?
Oh.
Like when the trucks like offload like furniture, right?
Yeah,
There's
just
a
like
little
the
ramp at the end of it.
Yeah.
It looks something like that, and that was kind of like the first prototype. Once that actually happened, now we're getting more like now we got the triangle building in New York. You know what I'm talking about?
Triangle building in New York.
It's a weird. I forget the name of it, but it's a triangle. Like the building's a triangle. It's like this. It's a triangle.
Like dang, I don't remember.
I forget what the name of it is. What the name of it? What's the name of it? I forget the name.
What the name of it is?
What the name of it is? Damn, that sucks. But anyways, so then they started building higher buildings, and funny thing was that when they didn't have the first skyscraper, that's why I started in New York, and that became like new technology. There was never a city like that until New York. I mean, there's an ancient city out there that actually had skyscrapers a very long time ago, but New York was just super popular at the time that then Europe and other cities they actually copied that idea.
Mm-hmm.
And you get skyscrapers because everywhere else it was Europe, right? Like the tallest building was the Eiffel Tower for a long time.
Yeah.
And you couldn't house people in there. It was just a monument.
Mm-hmm.
So they made elevators, they built them up, and the funny thing though was I don't know if this is true, but New York had more population when there was no skyscrapers and buildings of 5 stories tall, about like than they have now. Right now they have about 8 million people in New York. I read somewhere that before skyscrapers, when everything was densely, but it was 5 stories, like 20, maybe 14 million people.
Damn.
In New York at one point.
That's crazy.
I gotta fact check that, but that's what I read on Twitter, so I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go with it.
Fact check. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Like Korea's like densely populated, man.
So you have to kind of everyone follow that model.
Yeah, it's either up or down, man. Like they built a new mall. Like you know how Westfield,
Yeah.
right? Westfield, like they're
Mission Valley,
of
Fashion Valley.
yeah, or like UTC, you know.
Right.
The malls look more like UTC, if anything.
Oh, okay.
But Westfield, we have over here. They have like their version of Westfield, which I think is the exact same thing, but it's Starfield over there. So they built a new one in Suwon, which is like a major city,
Right.
in between like where I lived and Seoul, which I would go to Suwon to go to the mall because
Right.
they actually had like a mall. Like my area wasn't all too developed, and it didn't really have like a mall. You know, it had like stores like here and there, like scattered. You know.
Yeah.
But the mall in Suwon Starfield, it was like it's 8 floors of parking,
Damn.
like down. So like B1 to B8,
Yeah.
and then it's like 1 to 8.
Jeez.
Like, so it's 16 floors
That's
in
insane.
total, but 8 of them are underground. You know, so it's just going like boom, boom, boom,
Right,
boom,
right,
boom. You know.
Elevator or just stairs?
Well, I mean, to drive all the way down.
Oh, yeah, like a parking lot.
In the parking lot, and then you take the elevator up or the escalator. You just go up.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, like how well they are able to use their space vertically. You know.
Yeah.
And
Do you know the population of Korea? Is it it's in the millions, but 10 million? Do you think? Nah, I can't be bigger than
think
New York.
20
I think
million.
20 million.
like Seoul, and well, I mean Seoul's a big city,
Oh yeah, Seoul is a huge
Yeah.
city.
and then especially like the way
Japan
that
is a
they
big city.
like Tokyo or whatever.
Tokyo, I think Tokyo, Japan is like 18 million. Might be even 32. I think something crazy like that. 18 or 24 or 32 million, bro. It might be 18 though. I think I'll go with 18. It's a
I
lot
don't
of
remember,
people.
man. But I think it was like 51 because in the military, like our base was the 51st fighter wing or whatever, and I think it was 51st because it was saying that because I remember on like a particular wall it said like we defend and protect 51 million lives, but that
Oh,
might have
shit.
been like
The whole.
the whole country, but that I think that was like painted like a long time ago. You
Oh,
know?
I see.
Like we protect the 51 million lives of Korea. So like I think that was like an old like thing.
Yeah.
But obviously like the population growth, it's like more modern now.
Yeah, of
Like the
course.
technology is very like not I wouldn't say advanced, but like really interconnected
Right.
with the lives. You know, like it's really rare that they use cash. I think they're trying to get away with cash now.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but yeah, man. I mean, I had a good time in Korea.
So
Like,
when did you know you were gonna go to Korea?
oh yeah, sorry. And then we just keep on going off.
We
on
get talking, yeah,
tangents,
but that's
you know?
good though.
Yeah, it's good. Keep on talking.
Keep on talking.
But but okay. So, I guess to start off with, okay. To start off with, like the whole reason why I wanted to join the military. Well, like my dad would take me to air shows over there in Miramar, like
Okay.
every year when I was younger, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it kind of like built up a dream for me that I wanted to become like a pilot, right?
Right.
But then during like high school, I kind of wanted to do other things, you know.
Yeah.
And I just kind of stopped with that dream. And then I remember I went to the air show again, like for the first time in a long time, and I saw like the jets again, and it kind of revived that dream, you know. But I still kind of wasn't fully committed to it, and but I do remember like wanting to explore something else, like even architecture, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you remember like I did have an interest, you know,
Yeah, man.
in architecture like back in high
I
school,
remember.
but um but like I said, you know me and like how much I messed around in like high school, you know, like I don't even remember
Your GPA?
like I do remember my GPA, but I don't remember which one was which. I didn't really care. I just saw the numbers and I was like, oh okay.
Yeah.
It was 2.4 and 2.7 were the two numbers, you know, because it was like weighted
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and unweighted, but it was like 2.4, 2.7, you know. Well, that's because I didn't do my homework, you know.
Yeah.
I hated doing the homework, you know, because like taking the bus, you know, like taking the city bus
Yeah.
all the way from Point Loma to like Skyline Hills.
That's what you damn, I didn't know you were living in Skyline Hills.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of
Is
like
that
a,
by Lincoln?
yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like a good distance, you know.
It's
like
it's a great
it would
distance.
it would take about like 2 hours, maybe even 3 to get home, you know. Like, and by that time I'm tired, you know.
Yeah.
Having to deal with like all that transferring and the crazy people in the bus,
Heck
you
yeah,
know. And
yeah.
sometimes I'd be blasted by the sun because the bus windows are freaking huge, you know.
Right.
And I just didn't want to do my homework, and plus I wanted to just mess around, play video games, you know, like just go back and play like Call of Duty or something, you know.
Yeah.
But so that was like one of the reasons why I wasn't really able to get into college, and plus I kind of had a feeling I wanted to join the military at that point because,
Okay.
like I said, that like dream of becoming a fighter pilot kind of got revived. So I was kind of leaning more towards it because I knew I had a bad GPA. I had a pretty good SAT score.
Yeah.
I had an 1100.
That's good. That's definitely good.
And but I didn't file for any like what's it called, FAFSA or
Yeah,
like
right, yeah.
financial aid or whatever, you know. I didn't file for any of that, and And
You ended up deciding I'm just gonna go to the military.
yeah, but it was like more than just that. Like, it was the fact that I hated San Diego. You know,
Yeah.
I like hated San Diego because, like, growing up, we didn't travel that much. You know,
Right.
the furthest I traveled was like to TJ, or I'm sorry, the furthest I traveled was to like Northern California
Yeah.
for college road trip. You know, like how we went to
Right.
like
Yeah.
San Fran and
San Jose, we went
Sacramento.
all the way to San Jose. I think.
Yeah, exactly. Like we went all the way up there, and then the furthest east I've been was Yuma, but
Yeah.
that's because we went to Mexicali, right?
Mexicali.
Mexicali.
yeah,
Oh, that's what
yeah, yeah,
Brother
exactly.
Joe said. Mexicali.
we went there. So, and that wasn't really all that interesting. And then the furthest south I've been was friggin' TJ, you know?
Oh, okay.
So I didn't really travel all too much, you know? And San Diego's a small city, you know? It's a very small city.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like I've like, even now, I feel like I exhausted all the things that I really like had an interest in and wanted to do, you know? Now it's like kind of like old news, you know? Because I mean, I would come here all the time to Balboa, you know? You remember my dog Athena,
Yeah.
right? She, I would take her walking around here, you know? She'd pull me on my longboard, because she's like a husky. And we would go to like Mount Soledad and Seaport Village and PB,
Yeah.
you know, and then I would ride my longboard a lot. If you remember that. You
I
know?
remember you let me borrow your longboard once,
Yeah,
and I ate it. I think, right?
I don't remember.
I think I ate it once. It was a nice longboard,
Yeah.
man.
It's funny because I remember when we were like in the tree house and you had my longboard and I had this like silver angel sticker on it, right? And I liked it like silver, you know, because that's
Yeah.
actually my favorite color,
Okay.
right? And then I look over and you're with a Sharpie like coloring the
Yeah?
silver like
No
over
way.
with a black Sharpie. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
What was I doing?
I don't know.
I think I was outlining the angel.
No, you were like filling in the silver.
filling
Yeah.
in?
I was like, bro, what are you doing? I mean, but it was whatever. And then so I just didn't like San Diego anymore. You
Right.
know, I just felt like a caged animal. You know, I've noticed that like I get cabin fever quite like easily. You
Looking
know?
for a way out.
Yeah, like I just want to explore and just do something more. And that mixed with the feeling of like, dang, dude, like I'm still here when I don't want to be. And it just felt like I wasn't only being stuck in location.
Right.
I was being stuck in like life in general, you know. Everybody else was moving away or going to college or like, you know, just doing something different and they weren't staying here, you know, progressing in their lives, you know. I think what stung more was like,
But
cause
wait, you had Sasha. Sasha was still here.
yeah, I know, but
Eli was leaving.
he went to,
Cairo was leaving, but Sasha was still here.
yeah, exactly, but like,
Actually, that's all I remember. Sasha.
yeah, exactly.
Well, Sasha's not enough.
In the grand scheme of things, no, you know.
Oh, Sasha.
Like I know, hey, sorry, Sasha.
Sorry, Sashi.
Yeah.
Sashimi.
It's sashimi.
Sausage, but in the grand scheme of things, like I just wanted to progress. But I think what stung more is because like at the time, like I was dating Jasmine, right?
Yeah.
And she went to Vegas,
Okay.
right? So I think that stung more, you know, especially like it kind of hurt my pride
Okay.
in a way, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I was happy for her, obviously, but it felt like I was dragging her down, and I was like, almost as she was like leaving me behind in a
Yeah.
way. But yeah, it just felt like everybody was progressing, you know, and like I was stuck and like kind of holding her back too, you know, in a way because I wasn't
you got that
progressing. You know?
anxiety in a little
Yeah,
bit.
exactly. So I'm like, okay, I want to do something, you know.
And then the military.
Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, I that dream kind of got revived. So I'm like, okay, like
Let's go for it.
yeah, because like to become a pilot, which I had a misconception about this because my dad also, because I'll get to that too. But my dad, like, he wanted to be a pilot too, and for the Navy, you know. I think kind of like Top Gun influenced that too, you know, when he was a kid. But like a pilot for the Navy, because like they landed on aircraft carriers, and that takes a little bit more skill, you know? A little bit, but yeah, like I say a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that takes a lot more skill than like just landing on like a giant long, like miles long or like a mile long runway. And so everybody was like, why don't you join Navy? You know, I'm like, well, Air Force has the best pilots, you know. I wanted to join the Air Force for that, you know, for that kind of prestigious label of like best pilots are in the Air Force, you know. Best Air Force, you know, the strongest, the biggest Air Force in the world is the United States Air Force, you know. So I talked to the recruiter.
In the history of the world.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
We're number one.
I think out of like,
you know that's not a Trump impression. That's Sasha Colbert. We're number one. From the Dictator.
Yeah, from the Dictator. Cause he was number one. Hey, where's that from?
Because I don't know.
SpongeBob. But but anyways, so, hey, sorry, man. I could talk a lot and stretch like a story out.
Get to the point, man.
Yeah, for real. But anyways, like I was saying,
we got time.
But so I talked to the recruiter, you know, and then he's like, you can. It was around like October time. When he was like, okay, you could join. I feel like I should talk about that too, like in case anybody stumbles upon this video and they just happen to get to this part.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people that military is like something they're thinking about, so definitely talk about it.
Any of your church buddies who are younger, you know, that want to join the military.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I think I emailed. Yeah, I went online and I forget the process because it was 6 years ago, but I went online and I think that they like do your zip code and then you can choose like which one's closest to you. Set up an appointment, and then you can actually go down to the office and talk to them, and they can tell you about stuff, you know. And then you start the process, and then you just answer a bunch of questions. You know, you got to get references. You know, like people like, oh, do you know this person? You know, can we contact you in case? Just like a bunch of questions, a bunch of paperwork that you have to fill out. You know? And then they'll text you, you know, they'll be in good contact with you. And then you go and visit. And then, like, you have to, based on your height, you have to be a certain weight, you know, which I was actually like a pound or 2 pounds over.
Damn.
The weight, because I think the limit was like 169. I was like 170, 171.
Did they freak out? They just said, hey, you can probably get this done in like a week.
Yeah. They're like, just work out some more and then you'll be good, you know? Yeah, so you are, I thought it was, I forget what it was called, but it was like the delayment program or whatever. Like you were delayed, kind of like in limbo.
Okay.
You know, I forget which one I did first, but you go to MEPS, Military Entrance Processing Center.
Yeah.
It's over there, like near the 15.
Okay.
Over there, like Kearney Mesa area. I don't remember, but it was like along the 15. So it's actually in San Diego. So if you're in San Diego, like, in my West crack, if you're in San Diego, then you don't have to go far because people in Riverside they actually had to come over here, you know. But I forget the like step-by-step process, which I wish I remembered, but
it's fine. Well, you guys first sent to Las Vegas, right?
No. But that was until later. But it wasn't too difficult, you know. You just had a bunch of questions, and then at MEPS you actually took the ASVAB. I forget what that stands for, but it basically sees like what you're good at, you know, like administrative job or like engineering, like it's like administrative, ad, administrative, like mechanical or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Like which, it's an aptitude test basically. You know?
Okay.
So like, it sees what job you or what job category you might be good at, you know. So you take
Okay.
that, and then if you get like a good score, like there's a minimum for each branch, right? And then I actually scored kind of low. Honestly, I think I scored like in the 70s.
Damn.
I honestly, well, and there's a lot of like like questions that that we didn't just that like we didn't learn. What messed me up was like um, how much force would you need if um, you were to pull like a 10-pound weight and it's connected on like three different pulleys. You
Yeah.
know? It's like how much force would you need? And I'm like, I never learned that, you know. But
10 divided by 10 divided by 3.
yeah, I mean,
3.3.
I never learned that, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention in class, yeah. But
But do you get it now?
nah.
So there's a weight,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
then there's 3 pulleys.
Yeah.
They're all trying to pick up 10, right?
Hmm.
So you'll have one pulling, one pulling, one pulling. If you have 3 people pulling, it makes it easier because each of you essentially is gonna carry. You'll divide this weight by 3 people, so the pulley will. One person essentially is gonna be pulling 3 pounds. Well, if that's like 10 pounds, you'll pull like 3.3 pounds. Another, it just it'll feel lighter.
Okay, I see. Makes sense. But yeah. So after just doing the questions, you know, getting the paperwork filled out, doing the ASVAB, and then you go to medical, or the medical part.
The checkup
And
part.
yeah, and then that's when you like do the duck walk. You know, you got to strip down to your underwear, do the duck walk, and
I like that dog.
Hey, puppy is fluffy.
but yeah, you got to do the duck walk, and then they check your butt.
No way, they do.
Yeah, you
How
gotta
was
like
that?
turn around and bend over. It was very weird, but it's like, yeah, if I gotta join the military to like, you know,
I don't want to
if I
get.
gotta do this to join the military.
I don't want to get
whatever, you know?
specific, but like,
Did he touch you? Is that what you're asking?
not. I'm sure he did.
I don't remember. He might have like, you know,
Inspected, or is it like
cuffed your
colonoscopy?
balls or
Is it
whatever.
like
Told
a
you to cough. I
colonoscopy?
think.
Colonoscopy.
But no, he just looked at it.
Oh, he's looked
He
at
didn't
it.
stick a finger.
So
in
what are
it.
they? What are they looking for?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. You know.
Some like rashiness or something?
I don't know. Honestly, I honestly do not know.
You think you had some crust?
That's nasty, bro. I'm sure like he's seen all that.
Hey,
bro.
I just want to let you know, I didn't start using flush
Toilet
wipes.
paper?
Flush wipes until 18 years old.
Flesh wipes
Flush wipes.
or like wet wipes? I mean,
Well, wet wipes. But I call them flush wipes because not all wet wipes can actually be flushed. I still flush them anyways, but,
oh,
but
flush.
flush wipes.
I thought you said flesh.
No, yeah, flush wipes.
Ew.
Like toilet, like almost like wet wipes, but
Yeah.
for the
Yeah,
toilet.
yeah. The flushable
Yeah.
wet wipes.
And my friend David, on Instagram, DC David, he actually introduced me to those.
Really? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now I don't like using toilet paper. It doesn't work.
They get you nice and clean, you know. The
It doesn't
wet
work. So I always get the flush wipes. But the best thing would be to get a bidet,
Yeah.
nice and warm.
Yeah. I've actually had a lot of those in Korea.
I went to Little Tokyo in LA, and we took a hotel, and I wasn't even thinking about it, but I looked at the bathroom. I said, "Yo, there's a bidet!"
Hey yo.
Like, obviously, we can all make jokes about it because it's kind of funny, right? It's getting sprayed water
In your
in
butthole.
your butthole. But when you talk about efficiency, it's way better than using toilet paper. It cleans it out, and it's
It
like,
gives you an enema.
huh?
It gives you an enema.
What's that?
I think in Spanish that's a lavativa. I don't remember.
But it's that if we're thinking about like essentially you're still touching that area if you use toilet paper because
Yeah.
you got to clean that area. So might as well, put water.
Yeah. Have you seen that podcast of where that dude was saying
The
that?
black guy.
Yeah, like he
Kevin
catches
Samuels.
it.
Kevin Samuels like, guys, clean your butt. He's
He's
like, get flush wipes and just get in there and scrub, something like that, huh?
No, it was one of like you said, he catches it. He catches like
Oh, the
his-
poop.
Yeah, like he catches it like in his hand and then drops it in the toilet or whatever. You know?
Nah, I've
Yeah.
never seen that before.
I don't know. It's like, what if you got the runs? You know, it's like then you wash your hands. I forget, dude.
Oh,
But,
that's disgusting.
Yeah, but anyways, going back to the
Korea military.
to the military, and then it was DEP, delayed entry program,
Okay.
where you're just kind of in limbo. So I passed all that, and then he's like, "Do you want to go in October or like November?" I forget, but I'm like, "Nah, man, I want to spend one last like Thanksgiving and Christmas with my family."
That's when you
You know,
told us,
like-
"Hey, I'm about to leave.
Yeah.
Let's hang out."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I don't think we hung out, right? Or we did at Liberty Station.
I don't remember if me and you hung out. I
Cause
don't
I was
remember.
still here and I had nothing to do. I think
I don't know.
if we're talking about 2018, right?
2018, yeah.
Eli was gone by then because he
No,
left.
well-
He left in November.
Well, I remember hanging out with Sasha and Eli at the time, and I think it was in the group chat too, like where we called him out because me and him, or the three of us, were like hanging out, and me and him were leaving, you know. So like he was going to Guam, I was going to
Korea.
the Air Force,
Oh, the Air Force.
Yeah.
And that was in Las Vegas, right?
I was going to BMT. I'll get to that.
No
I was
worry.
I was going to BMT and
EMT? The American?
BMT, basic military training. That's what the Air Force calls it. It's boot camp, but but the Air Force calls it BMT.
Yeah.
But and I remember we wanted to like hang out more, and then we were in Coronado. Like we got something to eat first, and then we were in Coronado, and it wasn't even that long that we were like hanging out, and then you're like, hey, what you trying to do? And then he was like, nah, man, I can't do anything else. Like I gotta go get a haircut, you know?
Eli said that?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm like, bro, this is the last time we're gonna see each other for like, who knows when, you know, like a long time. You're going to Guam, I'm going to the Air Force, like, and you're bailing on us to go get a haircut. I'm like, you can go get a haircut later, you know, like, what do you got to get a haircut for?
Hey, maybe
You know?
he was. Maybe his barber was booked.
I don't know, you know, just kind of.
You don't want to go to Guam with a bad haircut. You don't know what they're gonna do.
But he
over there.
wasn't going right then and there, you know, or like soon, like within the next few days.
So did you guys hang out or no?
We like hung out for like, I don't know, 30 minutes, maybe an hour. And I'm like, bro, like we didn't even like make out or nothing. You know?
We didn't make out or anything.
And, like,
We didn't get to enjoy the
yeah,
moment.
exactly. Like,
I didn't get to sniff your neck.
yeah.
You know where that's from?
Nah,
Because I would
no.
sniff your neck.
I don't know. Huh?
We were that.
Oh
each other.
yeah, I remember that. I remember. It's funny because I was thinking about that. I was like, didn't Sergio sniff my neck? Like,
It was just something to like. We would always hug, and I'd be like, just something funny, you know, to do like.
yeah, just something stupid, you know.
No.
Well, especially because like since I'm like shorter and you're taller, like my like
And we would
face
we
would
do
go
the,
into your
we would do the neck hug
Yeah.
like swans.
Uh,
So
yeah. I remember we would do dumb stuff like that, man.
ah,
But yeah. So, but then he's like, "Nah, man, I gotta go." I'm like, "Bro, we're not gonna see each other." And then we didn't see each other for like
4 years.
3 years. I think.
No, he was gone for 4.
Well, he came to visit. Remember when we like hung out and we went to the Shell
Oh, that's true.
in
huh?
Seaport? Like
And
it
then
was
he
like
left, huh?
at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he came to visit. I think it was like 20,
Yeah.
21.
2021, maybe something like
Yeah.
that.
But yeah, so I had a ship out date of January 14, 2019. And I signed a 6-year contract because I thought I was going to do the full 20, you know? And I'm like, what's
What's a full 20? Like a full 20 years?
full 20 years and then you retire, right?
Oh, okay.
Which is actually pretty good. If you think about it. if you can deal with the military for 20 years, you can, and you join like straight out of like high school, you know, you can retire from the military at like 38, you know, which is pretty.
What are the benefits of retiring like
it's
at
pretty
that?
good.
At that, doing the 20 years and then retiring.
It depends on what rank. You get half of your last 3 paychecks, right? Pretty much like for retirement pay, you know. So say if you get paid like $6,000 a paycheck,
Yeah.
then you get like half of that, you know.
For your retirement.
Yeah, but I don't really remember the specifics because obviously I knew I was gonna retire from the
Yeah.
military. But also,
What happened?
yeah, I'm just trying to gather my thoughts, fool. But I'm just looking at this right here too. Freaking standing right in front of us.
Oh, I think she's getting ready for Comic-Con.
Oh really?
Oh, no,
She's like cracking her back.
I mean, yo. She
Oh,
cracking.
she's doing like a Megan cosplay thing or like a video.
Who's Megan?
That new like robot android movie coming out, Megan 2.0.
Oh, no, I have no idea.
If you've seen the movies lately, it's one of the trailers. But anyways, so I joined, and then I went to BMT in San Antonio, Texas, right?
Yeah.
So they put us in a hotel at the Embassy Suites across from UTC, and then they like bused us to MEPS, I think, and then we did something else, and then I think they bused us to the airport. I forget like what order that was in, but obviously we went to the airport. We flew to San Antonio, and it was late, man. It was super late. By the time, and then we went into the PRC, which is like the main like conference auditorium place.
Yeah.
And we were there, and then we got what we call box nasties or whatever.
Box nasty.
Yeah.
What's that?
It was just like a little cardboard box with like a cold like turkey sandwich, some Oreos, and like a juice box, you know, like just like food that because they needed to feed us obviously. So,
Right.
and they're not gonna give us like a 5-course meal, so they just gave us like this box lunch, and then it was like super late, and they were like calling our names and like like the order
Yeah.
based on our last names, you know. Like I think I was 37. I was like, cause they kind of gave us a number, like I was number 37,
Right.
cause I was the 37th person in alphabetical order per last name in our flight. Is
Okay.
what it's called, like our little like
Yeah. Crew.
unit little flight thing. So then, I think it was like 3 in the morning when we actually, like 3-4 in the morning when we actually got, like, went to sleep, you know? And then we woke up, and then, and it was funny because that, I forget exactly, but I'm pretty sure like that first night, because it was like day 0 we got there, and then that like, that first night, that first or second night, we were already messing around, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, because people were supposed to watch us, right? But I don't think they had, like, people in older flights, you know, like, people like who were there longer, they were supposed to do like night watch for us or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it was that very first night, like, they turned the lights off and then they left, you know, and then we were there by ourselves, right? And then I remember like we were all like chattering and like talking like, oh crap, you know, like what are we doing, you know, just kind of like messing around, and people were like, shh, you know, like always that, shh, you
Yeah.
know, like, hey, shut up. But what was funny, because it was kind of like nerve-wracking, you know, just like being in that new environment, you know, just kind of like what's going on, new people, you know. Like I said, I never went really that far from San Diego. Now I'm all the way in Texas, you know. And I think what kind of like conned me was the fact that we all started messing around as soon as the MTI left, the military training instructor is what they called in the Air Force.
Yeah.
As soon as he left, we started messing around, and then one of my buddies was like, hey man, if the MTI walks in right now, I'm gonna be like Woody from Toy Story, you know? and dude, once he said that, I was laughing so hard. I was laughing
Yeah.
so hard, and I'm
It's like that situation where you know you can't laugh.
mhm.
So
Oh,
any
I
little
mean,
joke is like super funny, you know, 10
yeah.
times.
Oh yeah, dude. And like it was so stupid. Like I was laughing, messing around so much. Like especially when the MTI was gone, because we had like free time, especially on Sundays too. Sundays we were allowed to do whatever we wanted, basically,
And you were
in a
in San
way.
Antonio how long?
8.5 weeks.
Okay, and
Yeah,
then
that's how
after
long BMT is for the Air Force. 8.5 weeks. Um,
and then you go on to
Training, tech school.
and that's in San Antonio as well?
No, it can be anywhere. But yeah, but in BMT, it was honestly pretty simple. But it sucked because like it was a new environment, and like I got a cold, and I got a really bad cold, and then I think just being around these new people and these new germs, I got like really sick, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're not
And
taking care of your health. You're just eating, you
yeah,
know, no vitamins.
and it's funny because like, it's like speaking about eating, we would go to the DFAC. It was like a big process, you know. But I remember like I didn't really like eggs at the time, and I hate it too because people do this. My family did it. They think they like know the military without even being in the military or
Right.
knowing it. They're like, man, like it's the military. They're gonna tell you like uh, what to eat, and you're gonna have to eat it, you know. And they're gonna give you eggs, and you can't like say no, and you're gonna have to eat it, you know. Like you're gonna learn, and you're gonna be forced to have eggs or
Obey
yeah.
everything they say.
And it's funny because I would always eat pancakes and bacon for breakfast. You know, like that's my thing, you know. And my dad's like, hey, yeah, you're not gonna be able to eat pancakes and bacon anymore. And once he came to visit me for my graduation, I'm like, hey, guess what I had every single morning for breakfast? Pancakes and bacon.
Yeah, what?
You know?
How?
Because they like have it in the DFAC.
Oh, they have
Yeah.
it. They provide it.
hmm I mean, they weren't the best like pancakes or
So essentially, my taxpayer money was paying for your meal.
yeah, exactly.
Hey, that's what I'm
For
talking
real.
about. I like my tax. I like my tax money going to
Mm.
that, feeding Zach and his crew pancakes
Yeah.
and what is it?
bacon.
And bacon every single day
Yeah,
for 8 weeks.
but
Because
yeah,
it changed, right? You didn't always eat like after you graduated. Was it always pancakes and bacon? It changed, right? The food.
well, I'm not really like, well, yeah, I don't remember honestly. I wouldn't really go to breakfast
Sorry, excuse me,
in
I
tech
got-
school.
I got sneeze.
But anyways, but like speaking about like laughing, and when you can't, dude, my friends would like, and you know me when I laugh, you know,
Yeah,
like,
weird laugh, man.
dude, like,
I got a weird laugh. But you got a weird laugh too. We've all got a weird laugh.
I mean,
That's why every time you and I start laughing, it was hilarious. man.
yeah, dude, but like, if somebody did something like something funny, like if Sasha made me laugh, you know, I like, or did something stupid, like I couldn't help but laugh, you know, like
Yeah.
it was so hard to keep my laugh in, especially over in BMT, dude. It was so hard to like keep my laugh in and keep like my military bearing. They
You got in
call it.
trouble a little bit?
No, not really. Well, it's because they said because we're supposed to stand there at the position of attention, you know, like locked in, you know.
Right.
And then somebody would do something stupid when the MTI wasn't like looking, or just or say something like whisper something,
Right.
and I would start laughing, and if I couldn't hold it in, they said that you can't move during the position of attention except for if you need to cough. So like you'd be able to do this and cough into
Yeah.
your like elbow. So I'll pretend to cough, but like laugh into like my elbow. Dude, honestly, it was so funny because people like took it way too serious and be like, "Hey, we gotta focus, guys. Like this isn't summer camp." Da 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 da. And I'm like, bro, this is summer camp. Like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is so not what I expected. This is like I'm having a good time.
At that point,
I'm-
it was good.
yeah, I'm laughing, you know. Even towards the beginning, yeah, there was days that sucked, you know.
Of
There was
course,
like,
yeah.
and it was like just grueling at times, but it wasn't anything too serious. you
Right,
know?
right.
It's basic military training for a reason, you know. It's like
Yeah.
basic. But it was funny because like on Sundays, dude, if they caught you sleeping, they would like light you up, you know. They would like start yelling at you. But on Sundays, we were allowed to go to church service or whatever, you know. It could be anything because they accommodate for all religions, you know. Like there was like atheists where they just like watch like outside news,
Right.
like
okay.
what's going on, because
Yeah.
you don't have your phones or anything.
It's like a lounge, and
Yeah.
you just watch news and things like that.
And then I would go to church, and then there was like a classroom service, and then there was like the bigger church service, 'Cause it was like an hour of like, I forget what it was called, but like there's a classroom one, and then like an actual like church
Yeah.
service after that. But in the classroom one, they would like play like religious videos or whatever, and then they would turn the lights off, and it was ran by civilians, so it was actually nice because it was like sweet older ladies, and they knew we were tired, so we would put our like heads down and
Yeah.
like try to sneak an hour nap in, But,
So you do that 8 weeks, and it's fun and it's going great,
mhm.
and then you graduate, right? Then you graduate.
Yeah, and then we graduate, we like march with our blues on, and like we get the coin. If you watch a video on YouTube,
Okay.
like BMT, like Air Force graduation,
What were you thinking once you graduated? Like, what was your mindset? Like, you were like, okay, now I'm gonna fly planes, or what?
No, my job when I joined was I signed open mechanical, I think. Yeah, open mechanical, and then I actually in BMT they took us to a room, and then we like did our
What do you want to do? What do you want?
what like our top 3 or our top 5, right?
Okay.
And I got F-16 mechanic, right? Tactical aircraft maintenance is what they like
Yeah.
have on the website. But it's a fun job, but I don't recommend it. If anybody wants to join, like if somebody's like, hey, what do I go as?
Like my question.
I would say, unless you want to work on airplanes,
then yeah, do it.
do it. But I would say get a desk job.
Like my question was, once you graduated, what was the next step after that?
It was so now I got my job as an F-16 mechanic. Now I go to Shepherd in Wichita Falls, Texas. Shepherd Air Force Base in
Yeah.
Wichita Falls, Texas, to learn my job.
Okay.
Right, and then that consisted of being in a dorm with a roommate, and then we had inspections and stuff like that. Our military training leaders instead of like military training instructors, military training leaders, and they were more chill, but they were like they would inspect our rooms, and then we had to go and march to class, to and from
Yeah.
every day, right? In a super flight, like a bunch of people just marching, to the hangars. It started off with fundies, learning the fundamentals.
Right. The fundies.
Yeah. Fundies, and then learning the fundamentals, like the small stuff,
Yeah.
And then it went like the more generalized stuff, and then it went to track, where we actually went to the hangar with F-16s.
Yeah.
And then it was 8 blocks that we had to learn. So like as an F-16 like crew chief is what we're called. As a crew chief, you have to learn kind of everything, So our studies and our blocks, and we had to take a test for each block. It was based off of like the electrical system, the propulsion system,
Right.
the hydraulic system, the weapon system. It was like a little bit of everything, that we had to learn. And then after that, and then in tech school in Shepherd, we actually put in our wish list for the bases that we want to go.
Okay.
And it's funny because my instructor, he was an old guy, like damn near 100, an old guy.
Yeah.
He was like a civilian teaching us, and he's like, "Oh, you don't want to go to Korea because
Bless me.
Korea
Thank you.
has exercises, right?"
Exercises?
Exercises.
You're not talking about the video of the guy?
Yeah.
Bless you.
Yeah, thank you. But
What do you mean exercises?
exercises is what we call them, but it's basically like training for a week for the scenario of North Korea attacking us, right?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And since North Korea would attack us with chemical weapons, we have to get into chemical gear, right? It's called MOP gear. I forget the actual
Terminology.
meaning. It's like modular. I forget.
Yeah.
It's like MOPP gear.
Yeah.
Our chemical gear, our chem gear, and then we have to wear like a gas mask. It's like you don't want to go to Korea because you have to do that. You know, like it sucks trying to work in rubber gloves. You know, and like trying to, you know,
So what would North
tighten the
Korea?
bolt.
What would they do? Like you when you say chemical warfare, is that like I don't know any of that, but like what type of weapons? You know, like we talking anthrax or we talking
Anthrax, actually, yeah.
yeah.
Um, dang. So, like,
Like would they just drop off packages? They'd be more sophisticated.
it'd be missiles.
Missiles.
Yeah,
And they just exploded over the air. And,
yeah, and just.
So
I
in
mean,
your time
obviously,
in your
I
time
don't-
in Korea, they would do that. Like North Korea would do that.
No,
Okay.
that's in case they did that.
In case they
that
did
would
that.
be an act of war.
That would be an act of war.
But
So y'all were
training
in
the,
case.
Yeah, in case. Yeah.
And it's probably to this day, you know,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been doing that ever since
the Korean War.
Yeah. You know, like old people, like have been doing that. You know, old people. So and then after we filled the dream sheet, like a few days later, we went back and then we got told where we're gonna, and then we could look up where we're gonna go.
Yeah.
On the computer on the Air Force portal.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember I looked at it, and it said South Korea, Kunsan Air Base.
And you were excited.
And
What
there
were you
was
feeling?
2 bases, right?
Yeah.
Osan and Kunsan, and
You were excited.
that
or
one
what?
was the
Border.
worst one of the 2.
Why is it?
But I remember I like clicked on it and I'm like, I just went silent. I was like, oh my god. And my roommate at the time, he like looked on the screen and he started laughing. He started laughing so hard because he's like, oh, you're going to Korea, you know, like you're gonna be
You're gonna get killed.
like, yeah, like you're gonna be in the mob gear, like da 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 da, and just started laughing. He's like, oh, you're going to Korea, and I didn't really know which one because I heard one of the 2 was bad.
Did you know that you were gonna go to Korea, or were you like hoping to go somewhere else that you already knew?
So remember, like how I said I was dating Jasmine at the time.
Yeah.
So she went to Vegas, right? So the plan was
To go to Vegas.
to go to Vegas, which was Nellis Air Force Base.
Ah,
Right?
I see. Area
And,
51.
Pretty much, which was Nellis Air Force Base because they have F-16s over there.
Yeah.
So it was gonna be like, okay, I get stationed in Nellis.
It would be
She's
perfect,
in UNLV. Boom, you know. But anyways,
You get sent to Korea, now you have to
yeah,
accept the terms.
yeah, and then that was like the end, you know, of our relationship, you know.
But man, Korea.
But yeah, I was like, I don't want to go to Korea. But then it's funny because the rest of my class, they got Holloman, which is in New Mexico.
Ah, man.
And like in the middle of nowhere, Alamogordo, New Mexico, in the middle of nowhere, next to White Sands.
Are you sure that's not code for Los Alamos?
I don't know what that means.
That's where they created the Manhattan Project.
Nah.
But anyways, it's a little town.
I forgot. But
I watched Oppenheimer, so I feel like I'm an expert now in the atomic bomb.
nuclear physics.
Yeah.
And
But I'm
quantum physics.
just joking.
But it was funny because they all got like Holloman, and some girl was like, I'll trade with you because at that time you could trade, right?
Yeah.
And like that was like the only time in the Air Force where you could trade where you're gonna go to an MPD station. And she's like, I'll trade with you. I'm like, hell no, like I'd rather go to Korea than go to the middle of nowhere.
Then to New Mexico.
Yeah, New Mexico. So I was bummed, but I didn't want to trade. I didn't want to go to where she was going. But then I actually went there for a month to do like actual hand because it was static jets, like dead jets that we were learning on. And now it was time to learn
On
how
the
to
real
do my
ones.
job on like the real live jets with real pilots, you know,
Yeah.
like the whole, like basically, you know, that guy in the Navy, like Top Gun, where they like do the like, where they
The Tom
point,
Cruise.
you know?
Oh yeah, where they're like,
and then
hey,
they launch
go,
out
go,
the
go,
jet,
go.
you know? I basically do that in my job. Like, it's called marshaling.
Yeah.
I like check to see if like all the stuff is going great. Like in the panels. The oil level's good. The nitrogen bottles are filled, whatever. Like yada yada yada, and then I marshal them out.
Yeah.
And then that's when we like learn like how to,
The hand signals.
yeah, and then we like send them off. So that's what we learned it for a month, and then that's when I came back to San Diego for a month
Okay.
to just kind of say hi. And it's like, da-da-da,
Yeah.
and then that's when
Did we hang out that time?
I don't remember.
I think we
honestly.
went to Liberty Station.
My memory is so bad.
And we ate with Sasha, Cairo, Eli.
I don't remember.
We went to that little restaurant that's
I
there.
honestly do not remember. Oh, the Wings place?
I think it was the Wings place.
I think we did that when I came back the
Back.
second time. But then that's when I went to Korea the first time. It was Kunsan 2019. So it was so I got there October 3rd. 2019. No, yeah, 2019. And it was a new environment, man. It was like I'm here, I don't know what to do. Like it was like I'm in a different country across
Yeah.
the Pacific Ocean, in a different continent. I'm like, what am I doing here, But it all worked out in the end. It was actually the best. Like, it's funny because out of my entire time in the military, that was like the most fun time.
I bet. South Korea is a nice city.
Well, it was 2019, October 2019.
So you're in
So kind of think of like what's going to happen next soon
Right.
after that.
pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't explore much because I was exploring around.
Yeah.
Bro, why am I voice cracking? I was exploring around the town, which really wasn't much, I was
Yeah.
getting a feel for Korea. It was funny because like that first weekend out, they took me to Korean barbecue, like my shop.
Yeah.
They took me to Korean barbecue, and then we watched Joker.
The first one?
Yeah, the first one, and then after that, the second weekend, I was like, I was still like in the hotel because I didn't get my dorm yet, and I called my buddies who I met in tech school, and they were at Osan. They were at the one more north.
Okay.
So Kunsan Air Base is in the city of Gunsan, which is like pretty dang south.
Yeah.
And I took I was like, how do I get over there? I asked the reception desk lady because she's Korean. I'm like, how do I get to Yongsan, which is where they told me to meet them, which is in Seoul, right? It's like in the southern part of Seoul, which I really like, Yongsan. And she's like, you got to take the taxi to Iksan, and then catch the KTX, which is the bullet train, and then take the bullet train all the way up there, So then I was like, okay,
And you took the bullet train.
Yeah,
And how was that?
it was the same train as Train to Busan.
But how was the train, like in general?
It was nice. It was nice.
Yeah, like
I didn't get a seating ticket because I didn't know about that, so I had to stand for like 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when you got on the bullet train, it wasn't like a room. It was just like normal.
It
like,
was a
bus?
room. It was like, I don't know if you've seen Train to Busan, like, that zombie movie.
Like Harry Potter. They go on the train and there's little compartments,
Yeah,
right? Something like that.
I've never seen Harry Potter, but yeah, let's go with that.
Hey yo.
Anyways, but
we gotta get you to watch Harry Potter, man.
nah.
But all I'm saying is like the bullet train. Did it have compartment like a little rooms, or was it just like
it was
riding
like
the
a seating
trolley?
compartment, It was
Like you
like,
have to close the door.
yeah, well, no,
that's-
it wasn't
no.
little rooms. It was just like boom, 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 boom.
The seats.
It was like an
Trolley.
airplane.
Oh, like an airplane.
Yeah, and yeah, like just experiencing Seoul for the first time was like awesome. I went to that market, that famous market that's on Netflix. Like there's like a show on Netflix like that is like it goes to different places around
Yeah.
the world and explores like food, and it goes to Seoul, and that's like one of the places. I forget what the market's called.
So, do you want to talk to us about like how you actually got to meet your You don't have to, but
My
your
girlfriend?
your Korean girlfriend.
Okay, I mean, I'm trying to go along
Okay,
like
then
my 6
go
years.
at your
Hey, bro, come on.
pace.
Nah, I
Go
was
at your
kidding. I was
pace.
kidding. I don't know. Well, also I like start to ramble and yap a lot too. You know.
This is the yapping podcast.
The
Anyway,
yappers. But I don't really remember all too much of that first time. I mean, my memory's gotten so bad. Like I got that brain fog or whatever.
yeah.
But it was and then it was like February time was when they started shutting everything down, and then that was like the last time I went to school. And then I went to Seoul again with my buddy. It's funny because his name is also Sandoval,
Sandoval.
right?
Yeah, you told me that
Mhm.
Sandoval and both of you would turn.
Or turn?
Would when they would call you.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
both of you, that's how they go, right? Right
It was,
by your last name.
yeah. It was funny because, well, he's older than me and like he's been in longer than me. But it was funny because he was on vacation back in the States. He was on vacation back in the States when I got there, and it was funny because they they said, all right, Sandoval, like, because we do like roll call in the morning,
Okay.
and they're like, all right, Sandoval, come up and introduce yourself. And everybody's like, what? You know, like, is this a joke? Like Sandoval is already like here, like he's just on leave, you know. But then I walk up and they're like, oh, okay, I see now.
A different Sandoval.
Yeah, and then I actually became Lil Sandy and he was Big Sandy.
Oh,
Right.
that's funny. Hey, Lil Sandy. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
I like Lil Sandy.
because for some reason we had like nicknames. It was kind of like a fun way because like how like higher ups,
Yeah.
you like gotta use. It's kind of
Their
like
title?
like difficult for us because like we never used like Mister
Right.
or Mrs. You know, for like our teachers like in high tech. You know, we just like call them by their first names. You know.
I'll tell you a story real quick as a parentheses. There's a doctor because
Brackets.
all the teachers are doctors, right? They got doctors. And I'm used to high tech high calling someone, hey Rachel, hey Mele, hey
Yeah.
Serena. And then I get over here and in the email I said his name was Dr. Hicks,
Mhm.
but I call him his first name is Alan. So I'm
Yeah.
saying, hey Alan, just he's the director. He was the director at that time of the opera. So I was like, hey, like, hey Alan, what's the schedule like? What we doing, right? And then he says, yeah, blah blah blah.
That's Korean.
By the way, it's Dr. Hicks, not Alan.
Hey, yo, Doc.
And then I
Hicks.
had to. I was kind of offended, but then I understood. I talked to a couple of my buddies. I said, yeah, it's just doctors. Like, they worked hard for that title, so
Yeah.
they get that privilege to have people refer to him as Dr. Hicks, so or Doctor whatever, right? And so
Yeah.
then I understood. Okay, no, yeah. So I in the email I apologized either way, but
Yeah.
I thought it was just like is he like trying to be like mean to
Uptight,
me
yeah.
or, but no, that's just
Well, oh yeah, you
you
know,
know.
like because we come from like that different environment.
yeah,
you know, like,
exactly.
especially California as a whole too. Like California being just so casual with everything. You know, like how often do you hear like besides like going to like a bank or something? How often do you hear the words like sir or ma'am? you
Nah,
know?
not often enough.
Exactly. Like you never hear that in California, but in the military, you have to refer to every single person, you know, like who's above you.
What if
in rank
what
as
if it's a
sir or
woman
ma'am.
still sir? Oh ma'am,
ma'am.
ma'am. One time I called my kung fu teacher when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
I said he was like, "Do you understand?" I said yes, ma'am. And he thought I called him ma'am. He got me in trouble.
Yes, man. But yeah, so we had this like this funny thing too, like which I liked because I liked that casualness, you know.
Right.
I didn't like the whole uptight like like Sergeant Yoder or whatever, you know, or Sergeant Puente, you
Right.
know, like or Sergeant Johnston, you know. We would like have a nickname or Sergeant Holguin, you know. We would like kind of give each other nicknames and be like, "Ayo, Big H," you know, or like Big J or Big Yod, you know.
Little
or,
Sandy.
Yeah, you know. Like we would give each other nicknames like that, and we were like all like a family, dude.
Yeah.
It was nice, like especially once COVID started like dying down, because we were confined to base, you know.
Yeah.
They said the rules that like we could go to a store off base, but we couldn't shop around, which didn't make any sense, but they meant like you couldn't like linger, and like
Loiter
you.
or what do
sorry?
you mean? Like loiter?
Yeah,
Like loiter,
like
like just hanging around.
yeah, or like actually like kind of like, oh, like what do I want, like da da da,
Or just go to what you gotta go
Yeah,
to.
exactly. And then you couldn't sit down in a restaurant. You had to take all your food to go, even if it was off base, and it was 15 minutes taxi ride
Damn.
from base to the main part of the city, like downtown.
Yeah, so
Gunsan.
it's gonna be cold, or
Yeah.
you gotta eat it in the taxi.
And then
Ubers, yeah,
even McDonald's
or no Ubers.
Uber, not at that time.
Okay.
Now, just recently, actually.
Damn, so it took them a while to get
But,
to Korea.
But Gunsan is like in the middle, or kind of nowhere. Like it's mainly just farmland around. But anyways, hey, the camera.
Yeah.
But anyways, but once it started dying down, we all went to like on Fridays we would go to the restaurants and
Hang out and
like hang out and eat Korean barbecue and
yeah.
like get drunk and stuff like that. It was a fun time.
Yeah.
And then I went to Vegas. It's funny because Sandoval, his first base was Nellis Air Force Base, Vegas, and I actually
You're the opposite, Korea than Vegas, right?
yeah, but I actually had 3 bases on my dream sheet because I missed San Diego.
Yeah.
I missed the food, I missed the weather, I missed
I will say
I like took it for granted.
I will say San Diego gives you the illusion that it's New York, LA. It gives you the illusion, but it's actually. I was just reading that San Diego is the second most populated city in California. I would have thought it was San Francisco,
Yeah.
San Jose, maybe Sacramento, but no, it's LA, San Diego, then it's San Francisco, and then I think San Jose, something like that. But it gives you the illusion that it's huge, so it looks like a city, looks like there's a lot of opportunities, but you need to find the right people because it can get really like small, really boring, really fast.
Oh yeah, dude. Like that was the main problem.
But when you do leave, you do miss it though. Of course,
Oh,
yeah. You do miss it.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I just miss the weather, honestly.
Yeah.
And just like how simple and easy and how comfortable I am here. I was telling my mom that, like we were sitting in a restaurant. Like right now, I don't feel anything. It's just calm, chill. I know this area, but in Korea, like when I went to go eat, like with my girlfriend, when I went to go eat and went out, I was the only one that looked different in the restaurant.
Everyone was Asian.
Everybody was Korean. Everybody was Asian.
Everyone looked the same.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was the only one that looked different. It was just kind of like a weird feeling because it felt unfamiliar. Even though I was there for a long time, I was so comfortable. It was still that feeling of like, I'm a foreigner.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was so obvious that I'm a foreigner. Even like looking at the menu and then the bathrooms are different. Like
Yeah, what's the bathrooms like? Because in the movies, they always put
they're
like.
like super tiny.
Well, in the bathrooms, they always make it seem like you won't know what's the man or the girl side.
No,
Is that?
no, that's not the case. And then like the chairs, the like tables, like just everything was different.
A lot of
you know?
bidets.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to use some of them.
I don't think in public, but in like hotels, yeah.
Yeah, and there was like features or what?
I couldn't read it. But anyways, like, but I do miss like San Diego.
Yeah.
But it's funny because, like I said, when I was in Holloman, I actually drove back from New Mexico to San Diego, but I actually stopped in Arizona to rest and spend the night. And I really liked Phoenix.
Phoenix
looked
is nice, yeah.
Nice,
It's just
like,
freaking hot, but it's a nice
yeah.
city.
It was nice. It was like modern. They had the Diamondbacks and spring training there. Like it was like a good setup. I was like, oh, I could request to go to Luke Air Force Base, which was like in Glendale, I think, like near Phoenix. I'm not too familiar with the area, but
It is near Phoenix.
but talking to Sandoval, he convinced me to go to Las Vegas to Nellis because he went there and he had experience there. So then I went there, and I think that was like my least favorite time in the military.
In
There.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, mainly because, well, it was 3 bases. Edwards, which is like northern, middle of nowhere desert, LA. Luke Air Force Base, which is Phoenix, and then Nellis Air Force Base, which is in Vegas. North Las Vegas, like northeast Las Vegas. Um, but I didn't like Vegas, like I didn't really like, I didn't gamble. I didn't like party.
And
I
you
didn't-
wanted to?
No, like it was just not my thing,
Right.
I didn't drink, like that. I mean, like we went to the bars, like
And you would see like the fake Michael Jacksons outside.
I only went to the strip like 5 times,
Oh, okay.
and I lived there for like 2 years.
It's funny that you say strip because like it sounds like strip club. I went to the strip a lot of times. It sounds like strip club, but like it's funny that it's called the strip in Las Vegas. But yeah, every time I go to Las Vegas, I go to the strip.
Little darlings.
Little dog.
There's a strip club like right next to my apartment. So I actually I lived right next to Fremont in the medical district. Like there's a police station there.
Fremont, the medical district in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Is that like the? Did you see that? Is that the one? I think it's called like Cleveland. But there's like a cool medical campus kind of. The building is kind of.
Oh yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
It's like curvy.
It's like a silver curvy building.
You know who designed that?
Hey, you.
No, Frank Gehry.
Yeah. I don't know that.
Frank Gehry also designed the Walt Disney Concert
Yeah.
Hall.
It's funny because when we would drive by that, my dad's like, "Hey, that looks like."
The Walt Disney Concert
Yeah.
Hall. Same architect, bro.
Oh really?
And
I
he
mean,
also,
I can see why.
and when I've gone to Las Vegas, I went for my birthday 2020
Mhm.
or 2019 or 2018. I forget. I wanted to see that, but we would go to the strip. We'd go inside the casinos, have a good time. I had a buddy out there, really good hospitality. My friend Abel, and he's a chef, so he knew all the ins and outs and took us to the Hoover Dam. But I wanted to see that building for that specific reason. And you ever seen the movie Good Will Hunting? There's a moment where he's a kid. It's like a kid that's trying to figure it out in life. You should watch it. It probably inspired you a lot.
Isn't that the one with Robin Williams and Matt
Robin
Damon?
Williams and Matt Damon. Yeah.
I've seen like little snips of
So
it,
he
but-
tells them, you read a lot and you know a lot because you read a lot. But he tells them, you might tell me what Michelangelo, his political stance, even his sexuality. But he told me, you never tell me what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel. To look up in the ceiling and see all that great art. And so after I watched that scene, I started feeling like, I can look at all these pictures of architecture, of urban design, but I'll never be able to experience like looking at it,
Yeah.
feeling actually like the walls,
Yeah.
from the outside of it. So I try to always like be in that moment, not just like pictures, take pictures.
Like actually on site. Visiting,
Yeah. You should watch that film. It's really inspiring.
Yeah.
But so anyways, I've been trying to go, but just haven't been able to.
The one in Las Vegas.
The one in Las Vegas.
Yeah. I actually lived like on that same street,
Dope.
cause like it was the freeway, and then the North Las Vegas outlets, and the building was like right here.
Right.
I lived on the other side of the
That's
freeway
cool.
from it. Like I lived on the exact same street. I would pass it by every Saturday, because my barber is actually in the El Cortez
Oh, okay.
Speakeasy Barbershop.
Speakeasy barber.
It's like disguised as one of like.
Shout him out. What's the barber?
Speakeasy Barbershop.
Speakeasy
It's
Barbershop.
owned by Andres, I believe his name is.
Okay.
And like the barber that I would go to all the time is Alejandro, but it's
Okay.
Speakeasy Barbershop on Instagram. If you want to check it out. I actually, for my first haircut back here, me and my dad, because my dad liked going to him as well, because like he would visit me,
Yeah.
and like he does a really really good job, dude. Like to the point where my first haircut back, we drove up to Las Vegas,
Yeah.
spent the night, got a haircut, and then drove back.
Oh
Like,
shit.
you know.
That's cool. That's a fun road trip, man.
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
And I wanted to like visit Las Vegas again because like it's been a while, you know.
Yeah.
But also, I didn't like Vegas because the work environment, you know. Everybody complained about something, you know. It was like the expediters, you know, so the people like who give us our like tasks for the day.
Yeah.
They like played favorites a lot, you know.
Oh yeah.
And like I didn't like our night shift because they were so big-headed, you know. They were so egotistical. But that was like the fault of the expediter on night shift because he was egotistical as well.
Okay.
You know, like he's like, "Oh, I'm the best expediter." Da, 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 da. And then that like kind of dripped down onto, you know, his workers. I mean, there was really good ones like working, but I don't care.
Right.
I don't care.
If you're the best, if you're
Like-
good, experience,
Like I don't care.
just be a good person.
Yeah, just be a good person and do your job, you know? If you can do it well or in a short amount of time, that's great. Just get it done so we can go home.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need you to boast and be like, oh, you know, like, oh, I can do this, you know, and like, oh, you're less of a person because you can't install this part, you know? It's like, okay, you can't install the part, you know? Like, here, let me teach you, you know?
Right.
It was just stupid stuff like that. Like, there was this one guy who was actually like, he was a bit, you know, dumb in a way, you
Yeah.
know? Not mechanically inclined, you know? And everybody like hated him, you know, like, because tool accountability was a big thing, you know? Like, if you left a tool, you know, out while you like locked up your box, you know, somebody could steal it, or it could get,
Yeah. Everyone steals everything, man.
or it could get sucked into an engine,
Yeah.
you know, or something, you know. He forgot like his comm cord because we like actually plug in a cord and it's like a long cord, and then we
Yeah.
plug it into our
Ham
headset,
radio.
and then we talk, you know, to
Yeah.
the pilot, you know, like, all right, like, how do you read me, you know?
Little Sandy to Pilot
Yeah, basically.
Omar.
There's actually a video. It's the channel Gung Ho.
Channel Gun Ho.
I'll send the
Yeah,
link.
send the
But there's a video of me actually doing the process of sending out the pilot
Send it to me, bro.
to.
That was a good
That
time,
was a
huh?
good one, But anyway, uh, but anyways, so yeah, so there's actually a video of me doing that, right? But like he was a bit slow. Everybody shunned him, you know.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, like I don't really care about this job all too much, you know. Like that was when I really decided that I didn't want to be in the Air Force anymore. By my third year, I didn't want to be in the Air Force anymore, you know, because I did 1 year of training basically, 1 year in Korea, and then 2 years in Vegas, you know. So that first year in Vegas, I was like, nah, man, I can't do this, because the environment and Nellis as a whole just left a bitter taste in my mouth. Like when it came to all this,
Right.
just the people, like how I told Jose, you know, the best part about the Air Force were the like,
Brother Joe.
yeah, were the people, but they were also the worst part, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Like they wouldn't make it fun. They
you know,
would like
there was fun people, and like
But
if you
the
found a
higher
good group,
ups
you know, and the higher ups
would
yeah.
just kill it for you.
Yeah, exactly. And like even some people like, you know, like my peers, you know, would
Yeah.
just be I don't know,
Why?
you know,
You know what? It would have been fun
Um,
when Eli and I went to Australia to go visit you.
in Korea.
But we
I
spent
know.
3,000.
Dang.
I think we spent close to 2,000 on the ticket,
Hmm.
and then the other 1,000 actually was pretty good. You know, like buying things, you know, things like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, Eli and I were really thinking of going to South Korea.
You should have.
just,
But
I
yeah,
Yeah,
I
just
understand.
money, man.
I would have loved for somebody here to visit me because all you had to do was buy a plane ticket there and back, and
So
then
when I found
I
out
had an
that you,
apartment.
oh, you had an apartment.
Mhm.
That's dope. When I found out that you were in South Korea and I was learning like urban planning, you see, the thing for me was that I didn't love urban planning. I kind of fell in love with it as I started to understand not only what you can do with it, but what it has done at a grand scheme level, right? So my first year of college, I was like, I'm just doing this, but I want to get out of here, do architecture.
Mhm.
Then I started learning, like, oh, it all goes together.
Yeah.
So learned. I heard you went to South Korea, and I said, wow, that's like one of the great cities to go visit. It's so populated, like tall buildings, you know, so much
Yeah,
capital
exactly.
in that area. Just people, you know, and more than architecture in like New York and things like that, because there's architecture, but it's too high. You can't really like right here, like look at that building right there. You can see it right here, you know. You can look at all the details, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's tall, but it's not that tall. Like if you have a lot of tall buildings, it kind of takes away from the view.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get to see the spaces that it creates. So you go inside and you actually get to on a more uh, personal level get to experience that space. So I was thinking, man, Seoul, like all the things it would
Oh yeah,
have,
it definitely
just go
was a good time.
visit that place. So I was excited that you went there and like different culture, the small cars, public transportation. Like I love it. That's why I don't
The
drive a car right now.
the Hyundai Casper.
I'm on
Yeah,
my
dude.
bike.
Yeah, I have a bike too, dude. I forgot. We should
Okay,
go. Another good one.
Hey, 2 for 2.
But hey, why do you do that?
No, you were like,
Yeah. But yeah. So, anyways, to finish up my thoughts on like Vegas, like that guy, he just needed a little bit more teaching, but everybody shunned him. You know, everybody hated him.
yeah,
But I was like, nah, man. Like, I was nice to everybody. You know, and I taught people because I ranked up at the time. I was an A1C, so that was my rank. But my pay grade, a pay grade is like um, equal across all branches, you know,
right.
like E1 to E9. You know, I was an
Oh,
E3, but but it's called a different rank for each branch. You know,
okay, yeah.
so like I forget what the other ones, but it's uh, like seaman or something like that, first class in Navy, something like that. But it's airman first class for E3. But then I ranked up.
What was it again?
I I don't remember for Navy. It's
No.
like seaman something, you know. Hey, come on, dude.
Anyways, go
Nah,
ahead.
just kidding. But then I ranked up to senior airman E4, and I actually. It's funny because like I didn't really know much because I didn't want to learn anything anymore. I was just like I just do my job, take the easy jobs, whatever, you know. But surprisingly, like people were so bad at their job that even with me just doing what I was told and not really learning, I would be like, okay, yeah, I don't know, but I can figure it out. Them, like my peers who were the same rank as me, who were actually like older in terms of like the rank. It was funny because they knew less than me, or like they weren't that good.
Right.
So I actually end up gaining like the favor of my expediter,
Okay.
and he's all like, hey, like go and do this, but he gave me the easy jobs, you know, and I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, you know. Which was nice because I got to chill like towards the end of my time in Vegas. But knowing that I like was a higher rank and I like knew more, I would try and teach the new guys. And then that one guy said like he was newer, and then a couple other guys. I'm pretty sure it was the guy that like everybody like hated. Um, I I'd even like allow him to joke around with me. Like he would try to joke around with like people,
And you just keep a straight face.
and then like they would get mad at him or whatever. But me, I'd be like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Like I think he was even older than me too. I'm like, I
Okay.
don't really care about rank, you know. I just care about respect, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you give me
Respect,
respect,
I'll
then I'll
give
give
you
you
back.
respect, you know. Like I didn't like I knew it wasn't that much of a difference in rank, you know. It was only one rank above,
Yeah.
but people would get like that in their head and be like, oh man, da da da, like I'm a higher ranking than you or whatever. But I think I think I'm pretty sure it was him, but he shook my hand once I was leaving. Said, "Hey, thanks for actually like teaching me." You know,
Okay.
I'm like that's the fulfillment I need. You know, that somebody actually appreciate.
From the guy
Yeah,
that was being.
like shunned.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like that's like my fulfillment. You know, like I don't care about fixing these jets. You know, these jets will get fixed by somebody. You know, like I just care that somebody else like has an easier time.
Yeah.
You know, than I did learning
Right.
or something like that, you know. But I didn't like Vegas, and every other weekend I would actually come down and drive all the way down here to San Diego, visit family again, kind of relax in the nice weather, go visit Balboa, you know, and like Mount Soledad, the Jola, and all that stuff, you know. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, man.
But
We're on this video.
hey, the video. Um, so I really wouldn't spend that much time in Vegas. So then,
Just do your job, and then
Yeah.
any chance you get, come down to SD.
I had a plan. I was gonna spend 3 years there, and then my last year I was gonna go back to Korea because there was no more COVID, and I wanted to like experience
Right.
Korea more.
Right.
But then I was talking to my buddy Sandoval because he actually went to
Big Sandy.
Panama. Yeah, he went to Panama City, Eglin Air Force Base, and he didn't like it there either. So then I wanted to go back. He's like, "Hey, I'm planning on going back to Korea. You know, putting it on my dream sheet." And nobody likes going to Korea. So if you put on your dream sheet, it's almost guaranteed
You're gonna go.
you're gonna go. So then he texts me. He's like, "Hey, this
Let's put it together. Let's
this
do
is
it.
what he said. He said, Korea, let's go." And I'm like, all right. And then I put it on my dream sheet. And it was so nice because we actually got the same base. Because remember how I said it could be Osan or Kunsan?
Yeah.
We got Osan, which was the better of the two. And we got the same report no later than date. Meaning we were supposed to get there at the same time. Like we actually like saw each other in Seattle
Yeah.
at the airport, you know. We got there at the same time. But what kind of locked it in for me too was that he was signing 2 years as well.
Oh, okay.
Because it's normally a 1 year thing,
Yeah.
right? Um, it's normally a 1 year thing in Korea. Like in Kunsan, I only did a year, and that was another reason why I didn't like Vegas because you were only there for a year, so then you couldn't take your family. So everybody had to hang out with people like who they worked with, you know?
Right.
So the camaraderie was so great. But once we got to Vegas, people who I worked with in Korea went to Vegas as well. I barely saw them because they had their family
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and they just had other things to do. So I didn't like have a family or like a girlfriend at the time.
Right.
Like, and it was hard to make friends with just random people out in Vegas, you know. So the camaraderie was gone. So then, anyways, we went to, and then, so I wanted to sign 2 years because at that point it was 2 years, and then I was basically done, you know, with the military.
Okay.
And he was signing 2 years as well. And Osan was actually like really nice. I actually got a desk job. I was like dispatch, right?
Oh yeah, that's dope.
I was
A
dispatch.
little bit more chill.
Yeah, it was like set 8 hour shifts, you know, set times. Like we still did a 24-hour schedule, you know, but it was like, because in Vegas, as a flight line crew chief, you know, your schedule was based off of the flight schedule. So some days they would, I think there was like 1 week where we like had to be at work at 4 in the morning.
Damn.
And then the next day we had to be at work at 10 in the morning. And then the next day we had to be at work at 8 in the morning. And then the next day we had to be like, you know, it like fluctuated so much where you're just like
messes up with
getting
your sleep.
racked around with your sleep, you know. That I was like, bro, you know, I was like, this is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
It was whatever, you know. I had what I had to do, but it was annoying. And then in Osan, I had a desk job, set schedule, and that's where I gained a lot of weight too, man.
Damn.
Yeah, because on the flight line, you're like walking around all day, you
Yeah.
know, like especially in Vegas, like
Yeah.
9-hour shifts, walking around, you know.
But here you're just sitting down,
Yeah,
taking
sitting
calls.
at a desk, you know. And I didn't really like care to exercise, you know. I actually failed a PT test because you actually had to keep your fitness up, you know.
Yeah.
In the military, obviously, but in the Air Force, it's not that. It's
Big of a
not
deal.
It's not that strict in
Yeah.
terms of like the
Weight.
parameters, you know.
Wait.
No, of Like you
Rules?
like have to run a 2 mile run in like
Okay.
this amount of time, you know. But it was pretty easy. But I just didn't exercise, and when it came down to it, I just I think I missed it. I missed the run by 20 seconds. It was like a mile and a half, and I missed it by 20 seconds. The limit was like 15 something, and they actually bumped it up from 13:37.
Okay.
That was the limit. Um, but push-ups and sit-ups I can do all day. You know, like I could do 60-60 around there, a minute, like 60 push-ups in a minute and 60 sit-ups in a minute. That I could do all day. But the run, the cardio part was like the part that messed me up.
And that was your time in Korea, the last, like,
Yeah,
then
and
you
this
got home.
upcoming time, because I'm like, whatever. I don't really care anymore.
Right.
I'm getting out. You know, like that was my mindset. Like I'm getting out. I'm getting out. You know.
And at this time, you have a relationship, right? You meet a
Uh,
girl.
I actually had like one relationship in 2023. It only lasted a few months. Just because, you know, she knew I was leaving and she didn't want to go to
Right.
San Diego. Like eventually, you know, it just was better that we, you know,
Yeah.
ended things. But then it was actually hard to find like
Social life.
social life or like a date, because the biggest problem over there, man, especially being a foreigner like an American, was the language barrier. You know? The language barrier was like the number one issue. I actually they were offering a class where like a Korean teacher, she came on base
Right.
and taught us, right?
Okay.
So I took like a elementary level
Korea.
Korean course, so I can like see the symbols and know what sound they make, you know, and like a little bit of the rules, you know.
Yeah.
I can read it, but I just don't know what I'm saying.
Oh,
Like
okay.
same with Spanish, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I can pronounce it or whatever, but I can't understand what I'm saying, you know. But in some cases, there's a lot of words that are like basically English,
Yeah.
but using Korean sounds. The social life was really difficult, you know. Like you basically had to find a bunch of Americans, but
Yeah.
a lot of like crew chiefs, you know, people in my field, they just want to go out and drink like all day,
Yeah.
you know. Like it's just all about going out and drinking. Like I wanted to explore, you know.
Right.
Um, yeah, like because the first thing I wanted to do was go to Seoul, because the last time I went to Seoul was with Sandoval. We went to Hongdae, which is like a party scene, you know.
Yeah.
We went out drinking or whatever. We explored.
Did I get to meet Sandoval and remember you called me when I was
No.
that wasn't he wasn't there.
Maybe actually, I don't know. I think I
Yeah.
was too drunk, but yeah, we went out there. We like explored for a bit, but that was like the last time because they shut down Seoul back in 2020. You
20.
know, like February 2020, they blacklisted it for all military members, right?
But then 2021 it opened back up, right?
Well, I left in 2020 because I only did a year, right?
But then you were there.
But then I
your
went
last-
back. But then after Vegas, I went back in August of 2022. So then the first thing I wanted to do was go to Lotte Tower
Yeah.
because I wanted to go because there's a mall in Gangnam called Coex Mall.
Okay.
I would go there a bunch, right? But that was like the first place he took me to was Coex Mall, and you could see Lotte Tower in the distance.
Oh shit,
Like
that's a
it's
nice
like
scene.
that tall, you know. And I want to go there, but then we didn't get to go because Seoul got shut down for us. So the first thing we did was went to Lotte Tower. We like hopped on the bus or the train. I forget. Then with Lotte Tower, I was like, okay, then like hey, this is fun. And then I would go there a lot. I would go to Coex Mall, which is like a nice mall. I don't know if you've seen pictures of Seoul, but there's like a famous library, you know, and even Christmas time they have like a Christmas tree,
okay.
and like there's a bunch of books, you know, like
Okay.
it's like
A
a
famous library.
yeah, but it's in the mall,
Okay.
right? So it's in Coex Mall, and it's funny there because they have a statue of like this, you know, because it's in Gangnam, so they have a statue.
Oh
of the,
no way, that's funny. In the
of-
Ghana, in the
yeah.
position. Of
Yeah,
the
exactly. Of the
dance
hands.
move.
And it's funny because if you actually look at at the statue, and then you look over here, is Lotte Tower in the distance. You know, kind of like how that
Oh
a
yeah,
fountain
like the
is. You know,
fountain is.
so it's like right there, the statue, and then way over there. But anyways, um, I just didn't know what to do because the language barrier in Seoul, you know, it was hard to get a date because the language barrier, you know,
Yeah.
they didn't want to like. Um, I would try to speak a little bit in Korean, but Korean's honestly pretty hard, you know, to learn. Um, but they
Yeah.
didn't want to deal with that language barrier, so it was kind of rare to find girls that spoke English
Right.
well, you know, enough to like have a conversation. Um, and be willing to go on a date with a foreigner, you know, like American, and then
Yeah.
let alone a military
Ya pasó.
foreigner, you know.
Yeah.
So it was very hard because I would go up there. I didn't really make too many friends, you know. Maybe like a couple of friends from work, but there was like 12 of us in my shop, you know. So not that many people, and a lot of them just wanted to drink.
Yeah.
But then we went to Seoul, and I would just like drive around, explore, and I actually one time me and my buddy we wanted to go to Seoul Tower, and we were looking for parking, and we parked in a parking lot, and it was a Red Cross like parking lot for like it was a parking lot for the Red Cross, um, and they didn't take American cards, so we got stuck.
You got stuck.
But it was funny because as we were driving, I saw on the wall,
No American.
on a wall next to a 7-Eleven, there was like a mural of like Elvis. And I'm like, oh, I like Elvis, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so let's go there. And then we went, and the dude was like,
No cards.
hey man, like, he didn't speak English, but from his body, like, he was like, oh yeah, come look, you know, like, you know? And my dad came to visit the following Christmas time.
Yeah.
I took him there, and my dad loved it. He loved us, you know. And so every Saturday or Sunday, I would go there, and we would watch an Elvis movie, and they would feed me Korean
He
food.
would go visit you in school?
He visited me 3 times.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Super dope.
Oh yeah. It was
Yeah.
nice to see like a family member.
Damn. And so
Um,
the second time you went to Seoul, you were there 2 years, right?
yes, yes.
And that's when you had probably the most fun. Or
Oh yeah, because I was able to get an apartment off base. So I had my own apartment. I had my own car. So I would just drive to Seoul like
Yeah.
every weekend, you know. And then I would explore, but it was hard to explore, you know. And like I said, I'm not that big of a drinker. But because I could have gone to like Seoul,
right.
got a hotel, and then like went out drinking and socialized, you know. But I'm like, I'm not that big of a drinker, you know. Like it's just
Yeah.
whatever to me.
Damn.
And
Man.
plus, I didn't want to find friends. I mean, I should have done that honestly, because like in my head, I thought I was like, I don't want to find friends at a bar because they're just gonna want to go drink all the time.
Right.
But you know, they could have been like just drinking that particular night, and then like, oh yeah, we could have like gone out to eat or like explore, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the DMZ, which it doesn't really interest me.
Okay.
But the demilitarized zone, the like border of North and South.
That would have been cool just to be there.
Yeah, dude.
It's fine.
But Seoul was nice. It was nice because I found like a couple things to do.
Yeah.
I would go watch a movie with my Elvis family. you
In
know.
English or they had subtitles, right? I'm guessing.
The movie was in English,
And then they had
but
subtitles.
but
for
they've
the-
already watched it, so
They wouldn't watch the movie.
no. I mean, they would kind of sit in the back and talk and let me watch it.
So
and,
it was,
and they would get the
Food.
the food ready, and they would take care of me, dude. They were so like, I mean, they were older, you know, because they like
Yeah.
Elvis, you know, like, and then I think they liked the fact that I appreciated them and like appreciated Elvis, you know,
Right,
because
right.
my dad liked Elvis, you know, because like his mom liked Elvis,
yeah.
and then obviously they would both listen to it when I was younger. So I grew up with Elvis. I grew up listening to like Elvis and 50s music more than I did modern day music.
Hound Dog.
Hound Doggy.
I was listening. I recently got into his Hawaii album. It's pretty good. Good album.
I don't really know that album. Do you know
He
what
was
song?
doing a film, so he was singing a bunch of like Hawaii.
Blue
songs.
Hawaii.
Blue
Yeah.
Hawaii, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the last one I saw. I wasn't really a big fan of that one. I think my favorite ones was.
And I haven't listened to all his albums, so that one was just like, okay, I know some of the songs
Yeah.
here. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm talking about his movies though. Like he sings a lot of his movies.
Yeah.
Or a lot
The
of his
soundtracks.
songs from in the movies, right?
Yeah.
So I think my favorite was GI Blues. Because I kind of related
To the
you know?
GI Bill.
The GI Blues, because he's talking about like I got the occupation GI Blues, like he's kind of like
Yeah.
blue from being in the military,
Do you?
and he wants to go back home.
So
you
what
know?
was the thing about Elvis? He wanted to be in the CIA.
I don't know. I don't know too much about Elvis. I'm not a like fanatic like that.
Okay.
I just like his music.
Cause some people, you ever heard conspiracies like they think he got killed by the CIA.
I don't. I couldn't.
You're just a fan of the music.
Yes, exactly. Like it's so funny because people try to tell me like, oh, well, Elvis was this, Elvis was that. I was like, I don't worship the guy.
I just
know?
like the music.
I just like his music and his style,
Yeah.
especially like his hair.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't worship him.
Yeah.
Like he isn't my like messiah. Like
That's what I try to tell people when
Yeah.
they talk to me about Kanye. He's not my messiah.
yeah, like
I just like his music, his clothes.
hey, but he made graduation.
He made graduation. But anything else you want to say about Korea? Anything else?
Yeah.
Or you had more things?
Well, I mean,
I don't mean to
I
rush,
did-
but just want to.
you want to hurry things along?
No, I don't want to hurry. I don't want to hurry things lunch, but if you have like other
Oh,
things
dang!
you want to, other things you want to get
almost
to,
one, dude. It's almost
Yeah.
one.
so
Juandísimo. But anyways, yeah, like meeting my girl, like it's funny because it was like hard, like I have a pretty good like mental fortitude, but being away from home, not really like having any like having any friends,
being on yourself, on your
being
own.
living alone, like if I could have my girlfriend like she live with me, that would have been great, but like coming home to an empty house every day, and just not wanting to be in the military anymore. Being in the military, like I just didn't want to be anymore. I felt like a caged animal, like if I wanted to go somewhere, like I had to jump through like a couple like hoops to like ask,
Yeah.
My leave actually got canceled one time because we were doing exercise,
What do you mean leave? Like you wanted to go
My
out to the
vacation.
city? Oh, your vacation.
my vacation.
And that
I wanted to
sucked,
go back to
bet.
Japan.
That sucked. Right?
Yeah.
You ever get a chance? Did you like have to wait a month or like you just they never give you your vacay back?
No, they just canceled it. I couldn't leave. I never used it,
Oh,
So
damn.
dang, my hair, man, my hair's getting all wacky. But yeah. So the places I traveled was I went to Alaska for TDY, so I went there for a month to work, and then I went to Singapore as well.
Oh, that must have been nice.
Singapore was nice, and then it's funny because
You
like,
rode a bike in Singapore?
but it's funny
Bro.
because I actually, like I said, how I stay up late recently, I said like it's because my friends, I have friends who I play with in Malaysia and Singapore.
Yeah.
And then I actually met one of the friends in Singapore. Like he took me to his house, showed me around.
Yeah.
It was nice. And in Singapore, fool, it was funny because after work, I never did this before, but after work we would just go to the bar
Oh,
and get drunk. So like I was getting drunk like every day after work, and then it kind of continued when I went back to Korea, and then it stopped for a bit,
Yeah.
and then it was funny because again towards the end, dude, like we would go to the bar like all the time, like because it sucks because even people said when you are deciding to get out, like life in the military is like this, you know, at the top of the roller coaster, you know, like it's just fun.
Yeah.
Like it's at its like peak. And then like it makes you like kind of second guess whether you want to get out or not, you know? And then you like end up enlisting, but I was like, no. But towards the end of my time, like 2024, I had good friends, you know, we would play video games at work, you know, and we would go on the weekends, like go to the bars and get drunk. And then and like I said, it was kind of hard finding dates and stuff like that. Plus I didn't really try much.
Yeah.
It was just basically like through the apps.
Okay.
It's funny because like when I stopped looking, because I already knew it was like almost time for me to go, and I didn't want to start a relationship.
Yeah.
When I'm like, oh yeah, let's start a relationship, and then all right, I gotta leave, you know. But it was funny because like
But it happened.
it happened because I met my current girlfriend. You know, we went to we talked a bit, you know, and then we actually met up at the Elvis place.
Oh, that's
Right.
dope.
And then we watched a movie. Then we like hung out by the Han River,
Oh, the
which
Han
is like
River.
yeah, the river which is like that like cuts through like Seoul.
Yeah.
You know, we like hung out there, and it was just so chill. You know, like I had a really good time with her, and then we went to Hongdae like a couple weekends after, and we had like loads of fun. You know, like we got drunk. You know, we just like had fun, and then that's when we just kind of
Life happened, you know?
Yeah, and then like we were like, hey, we're gonna continue this, you know, like actual, and then we were just like, yeah, you know, and then like I spent the night, and then she came back to like Hongdae
Yeah.
the next day, and um, we watched Joker 2,
Joker too.
which was funny
That's
because
funny.
I watched both of them in Korea.
Yeah.
We watched Joker 2. We had KFC, you know.
The bucket?
Nah,
Nah.
just a little thing. I brought my little bottle of Red Hot,
Okay.
and I put some red, you know. And it was like, and then we continued after that. But we met in October. No, I'm sorry. We started dating in October. You know,
Okay.
we started talking in like September
Yeah.
time. But we started dating in October, and of last year. So like we've only been dating for like a little bit, you know. And
What's the plan?
to get a visa to come back. She's actually coming on Monday.
Yeah. Is it challenging? Like,
Yeah, just because of the time difference, but not really. 'Cause
no, like the visa part.
I
mean, she's from South Korea.
well,
you
she can get a work visa.
She's getting a work visa.
She did get a work visa already.
Because, as far as I know, the relationship between Seoul and the United States is not that bad, right?
No,
It's pretty good.
it's
a
like
pretty good relationship.
Korea is like one of our closest allies.
You know,
Yeah,
they're the ones that are right there, and then obviously Japan.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I hope it goes well, man, because I feel like the way you would always talk to me about her, like when we would hang out before, seemed like she might be the
Juan,
Juan, you know.
the Juan and only.
So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she might as well be. You know.
I hope it goes well, man. I hope you that is a tough position, man. I mean, I have long distance relationship, but I'm talking 2 hours.
Yeah.
You're talking like a whole different time zone, a whole different world, a whole
16
different
plus hours.
continent. So
Yeah.
it's impressive that you're like the testimony that long distance can happen. You just gotta put your work into
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
You have to actually fight for it.
Yeah.
So I hope it works out, man. I hope the visa comes through, and I wanted you to stay in Seoul, man. Even if it was in the military, just cause.
I might go back honestly, because
You know.
considering how expensive it is here and how much
Yeah.
America is like in a bad shape right now, I'm thinking about going and working in Seoul or going to school in Seoul, because I think I can transfer my GI benefits. I gotta get like an approval first.
Right.
I might do like a year here
Yeah.
and then see about getting a visa or becoming a student and going to Seoul and then getting an apartment with my girlfriend, because I love Seoul, dude. Like, I dreamed about coming back. Like, so, like, I had dreams about Balboa.
Okay.
Like,
When
while
you
I was
were-
in Korea, because the bitterness of being in the military kind of contaminated my feelings for Korea, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I just wanted to get out of Korea. I was like, it's boring, you know, I have nothing to do here. But then, like I said, towards the end, you know, like where me and my buddies would be able to go out and like drink until 8 in the morning, you know. I remember like getting out of the bar and it was like blue like this, you know,
Yeah.
like, and we would just play video games at work, have fun, and I would like my girlfriend would even come down from Seoul, spend the night, and we would like all get drunk together, you
Yeah.
know, like I was like high on life towards the end, you know.
And now you have dreams of Korea.
Yeah, and then like I realized that it wasn't Korea itself; it was just the military holding me back.
Yeah.
In terms like, I was like, dude, I want to live in Seoul, you know.
Right.
I want to go to Han River and Banpo, you know, like every day. I want to go to Gangnam, you know, like I want to go to Hongdae, Itaewon, like Myeongdong, you know, every single day. Go to all these places
Right.
and live in Seoul. But I lived an hour away from Seoul, maybe even 2 or 3, depending on traffic. You know, like I loved
Right.
Seoul so much. You know, I love the food, like pork belly.
Pork
Getting
belly.
pork belly every day. I had pork belly from 2 places here, Mana and like
Some other one.
one next to it, like Ohana or something like that. Not good. Not
Okay.
good. It's funny because it's more of a novelty here,
Yeah.
but over there they like,
Is there daily?
yeah, and like they cook it for you. Which
Oh, okay.
I think because they see that I'm a foreigner too, that they like cook it for
We gotta
me.
teach. Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta teach.
Which was nice because they cook it for me and they cook it perfectly. The meat's nice and thick, but over here it's like super stupid and thin, you know.
Yeah.
But and then I end up burning it, you know. I'm like,
Damn.
I can't do this, you know.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Seoul, you know, like the people are so nice, dude. Even as a male,
Yeah.
you know, as a guy, I feel safe. You know, I don't have to look over my shoulder walking around. I don't like have to worry about if I'm gonna get stabbed or shot, you know, which isn't a likely possibility here,
Right.
but it's more likely
Right. Right.
over here than it is in Korea, you know? Like I've seen girls like they're drunk, you know, like pissed drunk, like stumbling, walking around, you know, like having to catch their balance, you know. In Seoul or wherever at 3 in the morning, and they're like relatively safe. You know, they don't really have to worry about much. They can just, and I see them like, you know, pissed drunk on the train going home.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they don't have to really worry about getting attacked, you know. Obviously,
Some
it's not
cases.
zero.
Yeah.
but, you know, it's
Yeah.
far less than it is here, you know. Here, I wouldn't even
The
be
numbers are.
comfortable
Yeah. The numbers are greater.
being
I think,
drunk
I would say.
walking home, you know,
Yeah. Nah,
alone.
no.
You know?
I don't want to cut you short, but I think I'm scared that it might die. The mics, not the phone. The phone was like good. But
The Mikaels.
so do you wanna wrap it up?
Wrap it up. What are we gonna do?
Wrap it up.
You know, I'm just kidding. Anyways, yeah, dude, dang, I wish I prepared more to like actually. I mean, but I'm a yapper, like I said.
It's
man.
okay, man.
Like have more of a structure in my conversation, but like, yeah, dude. I mean,
As far as me, man, I would say I hope you get that, man. I think one of the reasons that I've been thinking is like one of the things that I'm jealous of. And I try not to be jealous of anyone, but I'm jealous when people are doing what they love to do. I don't care if all they want to do is like the garbage man. I don't care if like all they want to do is like work at Nordic or like at a grocery store or like just be like HR, you know, like I'm envious if that's what they want to do, they're doing it. Because I definitely am not in the position where like I like doing something and that's what I'm doing, right? Like I love architecture, I want to do it. I'm not there yet. So when I see someone that loves to do something and then they're actually doing it, I'm just hoping that man, I wish I get to do that one day, you know.
yeah,
And I'm working towards it, so hopefully I get there soon. And I think that's probably what happened, you know. You didn't this just wasn't something you wanted to do, so
no,
it's something you had to do, but like you
Yeah.
didn't love doing, so it's always gonna be
Exactly.
conflict. It's always gonna hit you
yeah.
hard.
I didn't want to give 20 years of my life to doing something I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
So I understand.
yeah, man. Like, I really like because I love architecture. You know, like keep me in the loop, man. Like, I'd love
in
to
the
see your progression and like where you
Yeah.
go.
So I'm using this podcast as like showing the architecture places, the urban design. I have a couple spots in LA I want to go.
Urban Outfitters.
I need to go.
Yeah. I'm actually going to LA on
Do it.
Monday.
Oh, that's
Let's
dope.
go.
Nah, I can't. I'll be training,
I know.
but man, dude, this was good. Like we changed the camera. That view was nice. I freaking love the fountain. It's amazing.
Yeah, maybe you got that one over there too.
And then that little building up here.
podcast.
So let's just finish with saying, what do you wish to accomplish
Hey,
this end of the
could
year?
I do a part 2?
You can always
Could
come
we
back.
come?
You can always come back.
Could it reconvene? Because I feel like I talked in like a general sense, you know.
Oh no, this isn't. I always tell everyone this isn't like a one-time thing. Like you're never gonna come back on. You know, like
Well, I'm not done what I wanted to say.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it later.
Yeah.
But we probably do have to. So like that's only like 3 hours, and I think this is the longest, man. The previous one was the longest.
I wanted to beat the one, but
Yeah.
I already knew I was gonna beat it because
Yeah.
I freaking just.
But when you come
ramble-
back, we can talk about
ramble
more
on.
in depth about your time in there. We
Yeah,
we do gotta
like-
close it though.
Yeah, I think I talked general, and I talked about my time in the Air Force, but I
Yeah.
do want to talk about Korea more.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about like other topics of interest,
Heck yeah.
I mean, for instance, like the clothes. you
Right.
know?
We didn't get into that.
like music, the style,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the men's fashion. You know,
Yeah.
I wanted to get into that because like those are my passion. You know, like maybe in my passions too, like my personal passion of what I want to do.
Right.
I think I was just talking about this more like an introductory.
Yeah.
You know, like
Well, I'll have you on again, man.
yeah, man.
We just have to definitely get another date.
Shoot,
If you want to do it in a Balboa again,
Balboa.
we can
or,
actually probably use the Spreckles Theater.
Yeah, for real. Or
Yeah.
Masoda.
People that don't know, there was like a whole skating convention there. People were skating and it kind of threw us off.
Yeah, I didn't.
Um,
yeah.
But
Dang, man,
Zach,
God.
I appreciate you for doing this. How do you want to finish 2025, man?
I just want to get started on education, honestly, because
Okay.
I want to start in like November. The
Yeah.
semester starts in November, right?
Right.
Or towards. I'm taking time
In
off.
in August,
Yeah.
actually.
Oh, really?
August, September, October.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
November
I
is
have
when
to do
you
it
can
full-time.
apply. You can apply.
I have to do it full time.
Yeah. In November is the deadline to apply
Oh, really?
for the college. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, but I want to get started on that because I'm taking time off.
Right.
And plus, I knew my girlfriend was visiting because she's coming on Monday, and we're gonna spend 3 days in LA. And we're gonna go to Miami because
Alright.
remember how I said she got a work visa?
Yeah.
She spent a year in Miami,
Okay.
and so she wants to go back and visit there. Then we're gonna come back, spend time in San Diego, and I'm gonna surprise her because she gave me her itinerary. I bought a ticket
Wait, when is she coming?
Monday.
Okay, cool. 'Cause this is gonna come out
On the
Tuesday.
23rd.
This is gonna come out Tuesday, so you're good. You're good.
Tuesday, fool. But yeah, I'm actually gonna surprise her. Because she gave me her itinerary for a flight back, and I bought a ticket on that same flight.
Okay.
And I'm gonna spend a few days in Korea again.
Dope,
Go to
man.
Myeongdong and get some pork
Cool.
belly, man. Get drunk off of some soju, man.
Dope.
For real. Yeah,
All
man.
right. Zach,
Yeah, man. I really enjoy this.
I
man.
appreciate you.
I want to
Zach.
come back.
We gotta
on.
do it again, man. We gotta do it again.
Hey, when I get back,
When you get back, let's do it.
or we can do it even with my girlfriend too, man.
All right.
Maybe, huh?
Heck yeah.
Wait, hold up. My leg fell asleep. Dormir.
So you can see us.
Dude, my butt.